what did I see? What did I see? Then you swing it. What did I see? Then you swing it. That funny old tune will drive me to ruin. It came along and made me its slave. Now I'm craving things that I should crave. It came along and made me its slave. Now I'm craving things that I should crave.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil. Well, I was gonna say Tuesday, but it's Tinfoil Saturday. I thought it'd be fun to start out our year with, honestly, probably my most popular segment, and that is, of course, covering weird conspiracy theorists. And we have plenty of new ones today. I was able to pull a bunch of people that we don't normally cover. A lot of our regulars are, Spiracy Saturday. That's not too bad. I was able to pull a lot of people that we don't normally cover, along with some regular favorites. Peter still hasn't posted anything since Trump came out and supported the boosters and everything. So I don't know if he's having a mental breakdown or what. Although that's kind of like saying, like a 67 Chevy that doesn't run anymore has a breakdown. It's already kind of broken down, isn't it? Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the bit messages. It's just like Tinfoil Tuesday. We are playing bingo, so get your bingo cards if you would like. And if we get a hype train, I'll put on the tinfoil stuff. Update on the COVID thing. Still don't have test results. Baja feels worse. We're keeping an eye on her O2 levels. It was a little low earlier, but it's gone back up. So I don't know. We're keeping an eye on it. So I'll let you guys know what's happening with that. Blackwing Hecate with 50 bits says, "Wow, Hannah, I haven't seen you since last year. I'm gonna make it through this year if it kills me. I hate you for the first joke, but then you referenced a song by the Mountain Goats, so you're even again." Blackwing Hecate says, "In D&D news, my party is poised to engage Limurth, the blue dragon in her lair, hopefully with our giant allies and with the help of our giant fireball-throwing mage friend." Ashy Boo says, "Hi Hannah, I bought new bits here, so you can have some, thank you." Sky Comet Fallen says, "I'm overweight, not obese, have been basically since I was a teen. No matter what I do or try, I never lose or gain weight overall, I just stay the same weight and size, so much that I have my weight memorized, not saying. I still watch what I eat, but I'm resigned that I'll always be a chubby girl." Blackwing Hecate says, "Sanity sapping Saturday?" Sure. Is she resting? She is. By the way, I told her to text me if she needs anything, so if she does, obviously, I'm gonna go make sure she gets whatever she needs, and I'll come back whenever, you know? I'm just letting everyone know what's going on. Blackwing Hecate says, "The mage is a gnome, a huge giant." That is a weird typo. You love my lipstick. Thank you. Baja got this for me for Christmas. It's a nice color. Rah Inc. says, hope you enjoyed New Year's with Baja, and I hope she feels better soon. I hope so, too. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says, hype, and begins the hype train. Bitter Grin with 100 bits. Thank you very much. Yeah, last night I had, for New Year's, I bought this thing at Costco. It was like this bread hors d'oeuvre thing that's like bread but with a bunch of cheese in it, and you stick it in the oven and then you kind of pull chunks out of it. It was super good. I still have some. Did we kiss at midnight? We kissed a little after midnight. Not exactly at midnight. I was getting we had like sparkling rosé non-alcoholic stuff, because you've probably heard on the show before, I've talked about it openly, that I'm like a recovering alcoholic for like quite a while. I don't know how many months now. Almost a year, maybe? I'm actually not totally sure. But anyway, that was fun, and we had a good night. So, of course, sickness notwithstanding. Ice Queen 142 says, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I have some bits. Sadly, I won't get what I truly want, but not even a 41-year-old woman's birthday wish can't make the Republicans not horrible. What can? Omicron seems to be helping. That's a joke. Oh, there's a... One sec. I'm getting a message from Baja. Mortis558, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. I appreciate it. 9 months on Christmas. Okay, cool. I thought Thanksgiving was 9 months. Is it Christmas? Okay. Dude Spankin' Dude says, I'm so lucky I never liked alcohol or smoking. I think alcohol tastes gross, which is good since I take depression pills and other pills. Yeah, don't start addictions. Oh, Thanksgiving was 8? Okay. Cool. So what are we looking at today? Blackwing Hecate with 45 bits says, what should I get for dinner, people? Pizza. The answer is always pizza. Oh boy. We have people talking about the mud flood thing where they think buildings predate modern civilization. The hats off. We're not doing the hats off. So I'm going to reject that just because on tinfoil days I wear the tinfoil stuff according to the number of hype train levels we get. So I got to save my accessories for doing the tinfoil. CC gets, well, surprise, CC's a Trump supporter and he's racist, so he's finally gonna go mask off. Goddess of Anubis says, hey, Hannah and Stanas, I got diagnosed with autism and ADHD, so I'm finally medicated and feeling focused. Thank you and Baja for being such great parasocial relationships. P.S. Hope Baja feels better. Well, thank you. I'm glad you were able to get that. Is Baja good? She's ill. She's definitely ill. We're monitoring it. She's downstairs resting right now. What else? Evidence of Atlantis. This person says the moon is a lie. We'll take a look at that claim. This is Lord Stephen Christ, a man who a decade ago cursed me. I mean that literally. He saw Jake and I's channel and he cursed both of us. Didn't work. Unless the curse was for me to come out as trans, then I guess it worked. I don't know what Jake's curse is. Corn. Some sort of corn-based curse, probably. Yeah, I should add the No Tinfoil Tuesday thing to the description of Hats Off. You're right. Elizabeth April is going to talk about dissociative identity disorder. Meek says, good news, John Doyle's merch store got closed. It looks like things are going to get a lot harder for him. Are you kidding me? Did it really? Did us reporting him to Disney actually work? Sky Comet Fallen with 100 bits says, the moon pie is a lie. TubeMan642 says, woo, new year, new conspiracies. Any plans for the 1-year insurrection anniversary? Also, I hope Baja feels better. Maybe just going over clips from that day, I don't know. Disney lawyers don't fuck around. Seriously. Hack off commie. I gotta check. For those who don't know, it's gotta be there. There's no... No, news store. Yes, 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 yes! Ugh! Oh god, the justice boner. No, guys, we did it. We fucking did it. We fucking did it. Okay, let's... Oh my god. Oh my god, I gotta explain what happened to people who don't know. Aaron4464. Guys, can I get some kudos for getting John Doyle's merch store off the fucking internet, weaponizing Disney's lawyers against him? Holy fucking shit. Everyone who emailed Disney about this, a little round of applause, okay? Can we? Yes, yes. Oh god, yes. Probably didn't matter we reported it. The design is easy enough to spot by image search algorithms. I think us reporting it helped. Probably Lannister says, bits for the good news that I'm about to find out about. Nice. Okay, so here's what happened for those of you who don't know. John Doyle recently did a video where he was saying that he thought, I'll show you. John Doyle. I covered this. It was a video in which he did a whole, like, 35-minute video on how he thinks Gaston was the real hero of Beauty and the Beast, and he's just using it as a vehicle to get across his fascist talking points, basically. Purple Nickel with 100 bits says, bits for pissing off John Doyle. Pull up my tweet? Yes, I will. Hold on. Let me pull up my tweet. A lot of people horny post on my Twitter feed, so I gotta take the camera off until I get to my Twitter. But, so anyway, he came up with this idea of, like, Neo-Gastonism as a joke. Sort of similar to his shitty George Floyd Republican meme. And then he made a shirt out of it. And John is an idiot. So do you know what John did? John literally put the trademarked Disney character of Gaston on a shirt. And he was selling these for money in his store. So, I may have found the email for Disney's lawyers, which was easier than you'd think. They really like snitches, and in this case, I'm fine being a snitch. So anyway, I reported this, along with a little explanation of who John Doyle is and how they definitely don't want his brand associated with theirs. And then I posted it on Twitter asking everyone else to report it, and now today, lo and behold, John Doyle's entire merch store is off the internet. It says the store will be offline indefinitely. Ooh. That one feels pretty good. Woo! I hope he makes a video about it. Use this clip, John. Hi. Physiognomy check? How about merch store check, bitch? You fucking idiot. Anyway, let's go ahead and read some of these bit messages that I missed. 50 bits, Ice Queen. We have a minute left on the hype train, by the way. 84% to level 3. Ice Queen 142 says, have some points for getting rid of Neo-Gastonism and ideally George Floyd conservatism. Overthought says, how does John Doyle feel about capitalism now? A lot of people is a funny way to say Sarah. Sarah isn't the only horny poster I follow, although she is the main one. 30 seconds left in the hype train. We're at 84%. Remember, my wearing of the tinfoil is contingent upon the hype train. Isaac Inanimate with 100 bits says, Happy New Year and fuck off, fascist. Mike Max with 50 bits posts a link. Oh, this is the We Got Him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Let me turn it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Woo! Good shit. What else? Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says, fair to snitch, like sending the troll against the people raiding your village. Yeah, I'd consider it on that level, right? Audis Noir says, the only Disney villain I will ever root for is Dr. Facilier. Facilier. I don't remember what movie that's from. Cidosaurus says, this is so beautiful. Good job. I'm seriously going to be riding this high for the rest of the day. Princess and the Frog. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Princess and the Frog. No, seriously. Me fucking up John Doyle's day? Oh my god. Ugh. I wonder if he knows why. I wonder if he knows who did it. No one tell him. I want it to be a secret. Shh. I'm gonna tweet about it, though. What else? Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. Bitter Grin, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Probably a Lannister with 100 bits says, welcome to capitalism, John. Rachology says, Happy New Year. See, you're starting the year right. Cidosaurus says, that guy on the left looks like George Washington. Blackwing Hecate says, is it bad I still think that his opening, despite being LARPy as fuck, is pretty neat? A little. Red Werewolf with 50 bits. Roman Civilian with 500 bits says, here's to a better year than the previous few. Choking Ouroboros, thank you for 500 bits. Tube Man with 500 bits says here's to fucking over John Doyle. Chapomon says, do you think John will comment on it in his next video? I hope so. Rah Rah Inc. says, it's always valid to snitch on fascists. Get fucked, John. True! 81% to level 5. I would literally do anything within my power to hurt fascists. Not literally, not physically, let me be clear about that. I would never physically attack anyone unless I was in danger. But if I can, in any way, hurt them financially or hamper them from spreading their message, I will absolutely weaponize a multi-billion-dollar corporation in order to hurt their bottom line. Ugh. Thanks, Disney. That's good. I just joined the Disney movie club. So, there we go. I guess it worked out. Narnandia Owl, thanks for gifting a sub. Kippy with 100 bits says, Disney wants to escape their association with eugenics and Nazis so badly. It's a fatal self-own to ever be fash and touch their IPs even barely. Narnandia Owl with 45 bits says, gifting a sub, $5, partaking in Schadenfreude, priceless. Blackwing Hecate becomes the new stream boss and says, yoink, I think. Sky Comet Fallen with 50 bits says he shouldn't have used Disney's copyrighted material in his for-profit business. Trademark in this case, actually, not copyright. It might be both. It's definitely trademark, though. He would have been caught eventually anyway. It's Disney. They're a well-known copyright Gestapo. Yeah, that was really stupid. Which is weird, because I don't normally consider John stupid. He's evil, absolutely. He's evil and a liar and a manipulator, but I didn't think he was that stupid. I don't know. Maybe shit's getting to his head, and he thinks nothing can touch him because he's gotten away with stuff for so long. I don't know. Ice Queen says, hashtag always punch a Nazi. This was your way of punching them. It wasn't snitching, it was punching a Nazi. You're the new Captain America. Thank you. Hold on, I gotta tweet about the thing real quick. That's so funny. Hack off commie merch. Snipping tool, where is my snipping tool? Snipping tool, snipping tool. Save as. Downloads. Blah, blah, blah. Twitter. I gotta tweet this. 114% of level 5 hype train. Thank you, everyone, for the level 5. I'll get the tinfoil on in a sec. Hydrate. Blackwing Hecate says the heck off merch got hecked off. True! We need some heck off Johnny merch. That would be good. Twitter. That made my day. Seriously. I'm not overstating this. I'm not overstating this. Hold on. I got a Twitter DM from Baha. Let's take a look. Hold on, I gotta install Reddit in order to view this link. Oh wait, I'm not on screen. I can look at it online. That's fine. One sec. Merch store closing. There's a Hack Off Commie subreddit for those who don't know. Hack Off Commie, merch store closing. Any details why? I have no idea. He said indefinitely in one of his Instagram story pages. I tried to DM him about it, but he never responds. Yeah, he's never responded 100% of the time, blah, blah, blah. Man, I wish I could have got one of those, Hold on. One sec. Disney to... One second, everyone. There was a thing about for our current orders, please email, and I really hope someone tries to get Gaston shirt to prove he used their IP to profit and get Disney to really bonk him. Cidosaurus says, Johnny, yes, Hannah? Copying Disney? No, Hannah, telling lies? Ha ha ha. Bitter old ass broad says, cause you punched up, fuck off, Johnny boy. Hold on, I gotta tweet this. No one fights like Gaston. No one. No, I don't wanna get hit. Sorry. No one breaks trademarks like John Doyle. No one fights like John Doyle. No one cries like a tiny little bitch like John Doyle. He just lost a whole bunch of money, and that's thanks to you and to me. People say don't fuck with Disney. John Doyle doesn't think other people... I don't know. I'm out of rhymes. I got him off the internet. You expect a song too. Fuck you. Does John Doyle know I exist? Yeah, he does. Unfortunately. One time when I went on his Discord, a bunch of people had not so flattering pictures of me as their profile pictures and names that were making fun of me. So, yes, they're aware of me. He's never directly responded, though, because he's a little bitch. Maybe he will now. No one sues like Disney. No one abuses Disney. Don't you dare use their characters for merch. Not Disney. No, I can't write songs. I can just fuck with John Doyle. I guess that's my skill set. Anyway, good enough. Let's with that good news, go ahead and switch over to the conspiracies. Rachology with 100 bits. Is this? I probably can't play this. Hold on. Yeah, that's Disney.
Dishes!
Oh, okay. Beauty and the Beast Boys.
Beast Boys! Be our guest, be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, cherie, and we'll provide the rest. Soup du jour, hot hors d'oeuvres. So why we only live to serve? Try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. Cause nobody can do it like Gaston can do it. Come on, no one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston, no one's mixed as incredibly thick as Gaston.
Well, there's no man in town half as manly.
Perfect, a pure paragon.
You can ask any Tom, Dick, or Stanley, and they'll tell you whose team
They prefer to be on. Oh, there goes a baker with his tray. The same old bread and roses tell. Yeah, every morning just the same. Since the morning that we came. Bonjour,
Wait, is his Instagram down too? No way. No. No, okay. Rin, no. His Instagram is not down. Tie this up. Have my tinfoil cloak. Wouldn't that be funny? The link in his description doesn't work? I don't know then. Might just be a broken link. Okay, we have that. We get the glove things. Sorry, I know this intro's taking longer than usual. You checked his Insta 30 seconds ago? Yeah. Okay. I missed your bit. Sorry, Blackwing Hecate. Blackwing Hecate said, "No one whines like Garjon. No one pines like Garjon. No one picks up on... no one picks unprepared fights like Garjon." Okay. I'm sure the store will be back eventually without the Gaston shirt or with a severely changed Gaston shirt that is legally okay and doesn't infringe upon Disney's trademark. Either way, if I can take any sales away from him for any period of time, that's good. No one fights like Gaston, no one... Stuck in my head. I just watched Beauty and the Beast the other day. All right, we ready? Let's take the red pill or whatever people say. NASA shirt. I think this is a good look. I'll just wear this all the time. This looks good. Hydrate. H-Beard with 45 bits.
Mickey Mouse is this great Ekman teacher.
Enemy mine. Tube Man 642 with 100 bits.
Do you know what month it is?
Fuck you! It's January! I love Red Letter Media. They're very funny. Plus, I'm a movie collector, so I like seeing all the trash they have. Alright, what do we want to start with? We have plenty of stuff. I hate to be the bearer of bad news if you're, how do I put this? If you are not familiar with the news, I hate to break it to you this way, but unfortunately we lost a really great person yesterday, and that is Betty White. She died at 99 a couple weeks before her 100th birthday. Again, I'm sorry if I'm the one breaking that news to you. The conspiracy theorists have wasted absolutely no time in just spitting on her grave by making all sorts of conspiracy theories about this woman who was 99 years old dying. Because as we all know, 99-year-olds never die. They live forever, obviously, so it has to be part of some sort of stupid conspiracy. So let's take a look at Call, and then the guy who doesn't think dogs exist also made a video on it, so let's check it out.
A call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome.
M. Wade 19, thank you for 10 months. She lived through 26 leap years. She's 100. I will accept this.
Welcome to today's show. I wanted to cover Betty White.
This, again, if you can't, like, I'm sure I haven't seen this. He's probably going to be very disrespectful. I'm just letting everyone know. It is Call we're talking about here, okay?
And the death and passing of Betty White at the age of 99. Because sometimes there's signs that these are rituals that are occurring. Now, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I'm going to point and show you some things that make it a little suspicious. And I know some people will say, well, she's 99. I mean, she's going to go at some point. Totally understand that. However, when these things occur, you obviously have to look at things that happen surrounding it. You have to look at some numerology. You have to look at
numerology on the bingo card. Literally, he just said it. No, Call, you don't have to look at numerology. Numerology has never helped anyone solve anything, okay? Never. You know what helps people solve things? Math. And there's a reason math is different from numerology, because numerology is not real. So stop it.
It happening in threes because these things always occur in threes, and this
Call, you know more than 3 people die at once, right? A lot of people die all over the world every day. Just letting you know.
week we had John Madden pass, the NFL icon, John Madden. Most people, even if you don't really realize, you're familiar with him because that's what the video game Madden is based off of. Everybody pretty much knows that, whether they play video games or not.
Yeah, I played a couple Madden games when I was a kid, mostly because my parents bought it for me because, you know, I obviously wasn't out as trans as a kid. So they were like, oh, our child has a penis. Therefore, he must like football. Here's Madden. Yeah, John Madden died the other day. I don't know anything about the guy, but rip John Madden. Nick with 45-bit says, oh cool, I was just catching the call segment of yesterday's stream.
The term Madden.
That's true. I did mention cheese earlier. I wasn't thinking about it. So yes, that is, I mentioned cheese on the bingo card.
So you have John Madden, who passed at 85, I believe. You had a member of the Mickey Mouse Club, maybe not super famous, but made...
No, that's not even, like, no offense. I'm not trying to, you know, that person whose picture is here, I assume she probably went on and had a very fulfilling life and everything. But yes, a member of the Mickey Mouse Club died. Not actively a famous person, to my knowledge, considering that's the most recent photo you could find of her.
Headlines was the main page on CNN, who passed away, Tiffany Hale, and then you had Betty White at 99. Now we know 99 inverted, you have your 66, and we know...
You can't just flip numbers upside down, Call. That's not how it works. You think they waited to her 99th birthday? Why didn't they just kill her at 66? If you think it's a conspiracy theory, you wouldn't need to flip the number then. How does that make sense? Fuck it. Let her live to 666. That'll be even more on the nose.
What the numerology with the sixes mean.
Sky Comet Fallen says, correction, you had a lady penis as a child, the more feminine version. Well, thank you. Yes, numerology on bingo.
We also had other things too, because remember, the 31st inverted is 13. We had New Year's Eve, which is obviously a pretty big day for the occult, which most holidays are, especially...
Most holidays are occult? Oh boy, what a sad life. Like Secretary's Day? Executive Assistant's Day. I don't know if it's still called Secretary's Day. I'm sorry. That's occult. Is St. Patrick's Day occult? Arbor Day? Earth Day? My birthday? Which is March 12th, by the way. I accept checks. Narnandia Owl says, is that why they're obsessed with 33 in numerology? 33 they think is a Freemason number, I believe. Because I think 33rd level Freemason or something is like a highest level you can achieve or some dumb bullshit. I don't even know if that's true, but that's the justification they give.
The New Year, celebrating the New Year. Now they have multiple holidays that celebrate the New Year. The Witch's New Year, the Satanist New Year. This is the New Year for the peasants, I guess. The zombies out there who believe that, hey, we're going into the New Year, let's make New Year's resolutions. But
I mean, Call, we are in the new year. What do you mean? Does Call not think years exist? Don't get me wrong. Years are a social construct. We're just arbitrarily deciding when are we counting, you know, one rotation around the sun, or rather one revolution around the sun. But that's still a thing. We use calendars and days for a reason. It's a tool that we use. So it is a new year, and humans celebrate that because it feels like a fresh start. It's a new chapter. Human beings are like this. We like to categorize things. You know this. In fact, the reason you're so conspiratorial is probably because the part of your brain that looks for pattern recognition and organization is overactive to the extent that you're looking for patterns and organization where it doesn't exist, in this sort of thing where you're looking at deaths and threes and stuff. It's funny that you're kind of criticizing a thing when your brain is actually doing the thing. Marcus Drake says, Arbor and Earth Day are clearly worshipping Gaia, and St. Patrick's Day involves Catholics. Checkmate. Bittergren says, Arbor Day is worshipping the pagan god of trees, and obviously Earth Day must be to celebrate the Greek goddess Gaia. Tube Man says, don't believe the fake news, Hannah. Earth Day is just a ploy made up by Big Earth to control us. Audis Noir says, I think I'm having trouble sending messages on Twitch. I mean, I read that one. Sky Comet Fallen says, oh shit, I just turned 33. If I die this year, you'll know I'm a Mason reptilian deep state vampire. Noted.
The numerology on it, the 31st, inverted is the 13th. It was on a Friday, Friday the 13th. Obviously, I've talked recently about the Knights Templar and how important the Knights Templar are to the occult and Freemasonry. Obviously, that has to do with Baphomet worship. So those are interesting things to note. But I'm going to start here with...
Who's a Baphomet worshiper? Hold on.
It is the 13th. It was on a Friday, Friday the 13th. Obviously, I've talked recently about the Knights Templar and how important the Knights Templar are to the occult and Freemasonry. Obviously, that has to do with Baphomet worship. So those are interesting.
Wait, why do you think the Knights Templar has to do with Baphomet worship? The Knights Templar were like a Christian church thing. What are you talking about? Honest Noir says, sending pics is the only way that seems to actually be seeing me. My whispers aren't being delivered to anyone, and apparently my chats are also not showing up on stream. That's strange. I don't know. Just must be a Twitch issue. I'm sorry.
Things to note. But I'm going to start here with some of the stuff that they showed, which I thought was very interesting. Start with this tweet by Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds was tweeting about her the day before, apparently. Ryan Reynolds, of course, I've covered many times, massive occultist. He's the guy who plays Satan in those commercials now.
Ah, yes, Deadpool, famous occultist.
For, Match.com and other companies dressed up as the devil. Very surprising, right?
Dude Spankin' Dude says, Hannah, what's the difference between me and Call when it comes to our weird stuff? I believe in tarot cards and stuff, and Call believes in this stuff. Am I just more sane since, unlike Call, I don't think people should die? Yeah, basically. Tarot cards are bullshit, just so you know. They don't actually predict anything. If you just do them for fun, but if you think they actually predict things, you are very wrong. And doing magical thinking, much like Call. Be careful, it's a slippery slope. I don't normally like slippery slope arguments, but I've seen it with conspiracy theorists all the time. But I don't really care what people think as long as they don't want to hurt people. Hawthorne says 99 inverted is 66, which is a triangular number, therefore it's the Illuminati. The Templars were Catholic. Oh yeah, Call thinks the Catholics are Satan worshippers or something. One of the largest denominations in the world.
Right, and he's very close with Betty White, apparently, the day before he was tweeting about Betty White, and then, ironically, the next day, she passes, and it says, the world...
It's not really ironic. It's not what the word ironic means. He was probably tweeting about her because her birthday was coming up. They were actually doing a, a special on TV, to my knowledge, for her, 100th birthday that might become a memorial thing now. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people were talking about Betty White because she just got a cover on, I don't know if it was People magazine or what it was, for her 100th birthday that was coming up. So people were talking about her. Tube Man with 50 bits says, let's see Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, and who is Deadpool porking? That's right, Lady Death. Coincidence? I think not. They were in a movie together? Oh, what movie? Probably Lannister says, I was watching Spider-Man and saw that commercial for her big bash. So sad now. Yeah. Bitter Old Ass Broad says, guess what, Call? Numerology is a cult, jackass. By the way, 33 degree is only highest degree in Scottish Rite, but Call is stupid. Taylor Latte Boy says, I think if you assign meaning to a regular playing card deck, you could pull beneficial introspection by considering what the cards represent and how they relate to each other, but I don't think they tap into anything. Sure.
World looks different now, he tweeted. She was great at defying expectations. She managed to grow very old and somehow not old enough. We'll miss you, Betty. Now you know the secret. I thought that was interesting. The secret.
He's talking about what happens after you die, dipshit. He's saying, what happens after we die, which no one knows. Personally, I think nothing happens. I think you just die and your experiences end because you end, but he's talking about that.
Now you know the secret. Well, what is that referring to? Are we supposed to understand that? Is that inside lingo? Is it something?
No, it's very clear what he means. It's weird that you can come up with so many false, comparisons and connections, but you don't understand basic, human speech. Very strange. Sky Comet Fallen says, got a notification for David Pakman, and the title is Conspiracy Theorist Gets COVID, Claims It's Anthrax. Thought it might interest you. I did see that. There was a QAnon conference where a bunch of them got COVID. Surprise. Not a surprise. And then instead of admitting they had COVID, they were going around claiming they had been attacked with anthrax. They were not. It was COVID. Other ones from the thing went to the hospital and got tested, and it was COVID.
Something to do with the movie, or people just gonna be like, that means, it's something about the movie they were in, right? Because that's what a lot of the zombies.
Call, no, it's, the secret. Like, she's dead. She knows what happens after we die. He couldn't, he's being very clear here. I don't understand how you don't understand what he's saying.
Would say, but now you know the secret. Well, a lot of us already do know the secret. And of course, the secret has to do with these secret societies, and all of these people end up laying their lives down for the occult. They're usually sacrificed on their way out the door, and we've seen that before. I've covered that in movies. I've covered that with many celebrities before. And of course, I've shown this clip, which I'll show you now, from the movie The Believers, which tells you really what it's all about.
Of course, you're uncertain, Cal. Naturally, so was I, till I met him. Now imagine, if you can, a life without uncertainty, freedom from doubt, the ability to choose, single-mindedness.
One life from each of us, Cal, is all he asks. And he rewards our devotion 1,000-fold.
Personal desires, oh yes, of course, anything.
Tyler Latte Boy says this guy demonizes the occult while perpetuating his old brand of it. I know. The irony isn't lost on me.
It's part of it.
It's only the beginning.
There was a time, Cal, when man was at one with the gods before the fall. Now we're at one again.
This is science fiction as fact on the bingo card, by the way. Yes, Ice Queen.
Is power. It's a power you can't imagine. Power to create a world of our choosing. Power to destroy those who oppose us.
We want you to join us. Create this ground with this father's humble offering. You seek the strength and wisdom of
How do you get the bingo card? Exclamation point bingo, no space.
our benefactors.
There it is.
We call
Click
upon
link.
the ancient gods to renew our strength and guide your hand to strike down the enemies of our faith and of this great nation.
We welcome our brother Cal, reborn into your
What
grace.
movie is this that he's referencing? I didn't hear, and I've never seen this. Poetic Fox says, and I finally made it after working New Year's Eve and day. Well, I'm glad you could make it. The Believers? Okay.
Our enemies consumed by winds of fire. Our strength reborn in sacrifice.
Oh, he's gonna sacrifice a child or something? Citosaurus says media from 20 years ago, movie is from 1987. No, that space is more about when he tries to talk about, like, modern musicians, and the most modern ones he can think of are, like, Madonna. Because he's very out of touch with, like, pop culture, so he doesn't know what's popular nowadays.
So, of course, that's an interesting clip, right? And a lot of the time, celebrities go at a time that they're not ready to go. A lot of the times, of course, it's either, well, it's old age, like Betty White, or it's, somebody doing something to themselves, like the singer from Linkin Park, which I covered, and I can't remember the other guy's name, the other singer who was in a similar grunge-type band. And these guys are just doing this to themselves with no trace or evidence of being depressed or anything like that. They're about to go on tour or have new albums, and then everybody just believes what the narrative is from the mainstream media. So yeah, that weird tweet, now you know the secret, which is just very...
What an asshole. Does Call not understand that, like, the way people behave on the outside is not how people behave on the outside? Depression doesn't necessarily make people go around going, I'm sad all the time. People hide their depression behind all sorts of walls, right? I do that too. My coping mechanism is humor. It always has been. So, when I'm depressed, don't get me wrong, I get in a bad mood, especially around people I'm comfortable with, unfortunately. but I don't show it to people usually, like, on stream, or, like, when, I don't know. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I don't usually show it on stream or whatever. It comes through in humor or whatever, and you try and act like you're okay. You don't see people are hurting, necessarily. Bittergrin says, no evidence of being depressed. Fuck you, Call. Yeah. Blackwing Haggerty says, Robin Williams says hi. Some of that had to do with, I think, his Lewy body... Was it Lewy body dementia that he had? No, it was some form of... Was it a kind of Parkinson's? I know he had a degenerative condition that was also exacerbating the issue. So, very sad.
Very interesting. You have, obviously, Betty White holding up devil horns and doing symbolism like that. Another thing to also look out for when these things occur is the idolization that is pushed not just through
Why did you time that person out anyway? I don't even know.
the media, but all over the internet.
You can
Now, Betty
untime
White,
someone out.
I mean, do I want to say she's household name? I mean, maybe. Not really sure. Betty White's from the Golden Girls. That's like from the 80s, okay? Like a lot of us remember the Golden Girls, but other than that, I mean, I don't know what she's been in or what she's ever.
She was on some episodes of Community. She's been in all sorts of stuff. I don't know what her most recent, like, actual, like, series or anything was, but she's been sporadically in things throughout the years.
Done.
Spurious Symbology, yes.
But
Hot in Cleveland, never saw it.
I mean, the worship. You look for the worship and the
proposal, which I know
just the
Bob mentioned
idolization
earlier.
from people when these celebrities pass. Usually, that is a sign of a ritual because that's usually how these things work. They go, and then all the celebrities tweet, and everybody
Mary
cries,
Tyler
and everyone
Moore
how wonderful the person is. So that's something to keep an eye on. But this was
At Lake Placid. The classic Lake Placid.
interesting during the New Year's Eve Nightmare, which is the shows that they have on TV that people watch with the ball dropping. It was interesting. The first mentioning of the passing of Betty White on the main one, I guess, which is with Ryan Seacrest, the one in Times Square. The picture that they showed of Betty White was with Dick Clark, obviously, because Dick Clark is, known for those the New Year's Eve shows. Look at the photo, though. Dick Clark holding up the 666 sign. That was the.
It's an okay sign, Call. It's an okay sign. It is not a satanic symbol. At worst, it's neo-Nazis ironically using a symbol. Ugh.
The picture that they
But that wasn't a thing when Dick Clark was alive, so...
chose to.
Who's Dick Clark? He was a host of different shows back in the day, and he hosted New Year's Rockin' Eve for many, many years before he died, and it was taken over by Ryan Seacrest.
Use. You can see it here at 9:01, which is another interesting time. I'm surprised there's not a 1-1 next to the 9, but with New York.
He's not even pointing out actual symbols now. He's pointing out things that could hypothetically be symbols if they were different things. If that 901 was 911, then it would be a thing. It's not, but it's pretty close, isn't it?
In Times Square, but you have him holding
It's what time it was, Call. It's the time it was.
up the 6.
Taylor Latte Boy says, money down that he thinks deaf people are casting spells on him when he sees them communicating.
666 sign next to Betty White, which is
Next thing you know, he's going to be like, oh, see that advertisement for Carnival Cruise Lines? It's because the whole world's a circus. All right.
very interesting that this was the picture. This is the first mention of Betty White's passing, that this is what they used. Now, there's obviously a lot of photos of her with Dick Clark because she was known for going on a lot of these game shows back in the day. That's really what she was famous for before the Golden Girls, was just constantly being a guest on, Password and Pyramids, all these shows. Of course, Pyramids. You see the pyramids behind Dick Clark.
The $100,000 pyramid? That's satanic now, or occult, because pyramids. Great. Sure, fine. Yep. Game shows, satanic. I'm on board.
This is a $25,000 Pyramids, the show. But
$25,000 pyramid.
Interesting that was the photo they choose, him holding up the 666 sign, of course. And of course, she's 99 years old, so you have your numerology there with the 666. And then you also have these other things like People Magazine releasing the photo of the cover that was supposed to come out because she was supposed to turn 100 in a few weeks, and it says Betty White turns 100.
Yeah, she did have her own show. This is interesting. Wanted to link a post about how Betty White responded to Southern racists demanding she remove Arthur Duncan, a black dancer, from her show. She was incredible, and call is awful for using her death for this agenda. I agree. Yeah, let's take a look at this, because this is something really cool Betty White did. She was a badass lady. Sorry, Nick, I missed your bits. Let me take a look. But Hannah, there's a 9 and there's an 11. There are, I suppose. Call would lose his shit if he took a trip to Egypt. That would require he leave his basement, and I don't know if he's capable of that. Walking Trash, thanks for all the bits, says, Dear, call for an uprising. Your head... Oh, no, can't say that. Blackwing Hecate says, I decided to get Popeyes. Yum. Anyway, in a time where segregation was at the forefront of American issues, Betty White rejected attempts to keep a black dancer off her show. The dancer, Arthur Duncan, was featured on The Betty White Show that aired in the 1950s. When she was encouraged to take him off because of the color of his skin, she politely declined. Quote, I'm sorry, but, you know, he stays, White said according to a PBS biography. White died on Friday, just a few weeks shy of her 100th birthday. News that prompted a look back on her career that included advocacy on many fronts. Duncan told Steve Harvey in 2017 that White gave him his first job on TV during the premiere of Harvey's Little Big Shots Forever Young. I was on the show, and they had some letters out of Mississippi and elsewhere that some of the stations would not carry the show if I was permitted to stay on the air. Then, the 83-year-old said, Betty wrote back and said, needless to say, we used Arthur Duncan every opportunity we could. White continued to resist the pressure coming from stations in the South and used Duncan more until the show was canceled in 1954, the same year segregation in public schools was declared unconstitutional by the United States Supreme Court. Duncan went on to have a lustrous career in show business and gained fame for being the first black performer on The Lawrence Welk Show, according to Library of Congress. Over 60 years later, White and Duncan were reunited on Little Big Shots Forever Young, to Duncan's surprise. When Harvey asked what Duncan thought about seeing White again, he joked, God, I think I'm ready to go now. So she was like a good person. Good for her. What else?
They released this, and people are like, you jinxed it, and now she's not here, you know, because the zombies just don't have a clue, and they think that they know these people because they've seen a couple episodes of The Golden Girls.
Call, you know that you can feel bad about someone's death even though you don't know them personally, right? Like, I felt really sad when Robin Williams died. I cried when Robin Williams died. Not because I feel that I actually know him as a person. I didn't. I don't know him as a person. But I enjoyed his work as a performer, as a comedian, as someone who acted in many films that I enjoyed. And that's okay. Parasocial relationships are fine as long as you understand that that's what it is, and you keep it in check realistically. Everyone has people that they look up to or think are funny or talented or whatever. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It only crosses a line when you take it into the territory of feeling about them how you feel about people in your real life. That's an issue. But no, people that you admire for what they've done in their lives, people who you recognize as good people, when they pass, it's sad. And that's a very human thing to feel, Call. MH Darkbeast says, this was a pretty epic of Betty White as well. Let me look.
We have some fan questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Johnny Buckle on Facebook. Would you handle fame the same way if you were 22 now?
I hope so, yeah. It's never something you did. You've always got to think of it as the privilege of the world to get to this point.
Jenny Keller via Facebook. Are you able to go out and shop, or are you bombarded by fans?
It's not bombarded, but everybody is very friendly. And
they love you, Betty. You're a...
Well, all right, sweetheart.
National...
I'm going to put...
All right, put him down now.
Yeah, all right, sweetheart.
This kid has to go home.
Bye-bye, Thank you for surprising me.
Bryson Knox, what role would you like to be remembered for?
I think Life with Elizabeth, maybe, or the Golden Girls.
And Mary Tyler Moore?
I'm Mary Tyler Moore. How lucky can you get?
Yeah.
You maybe get one big series, or maybe two, but to get three, and now Hot in Cleveland is...
4.
Yeah, so we're just having a ball.
Jason Reed on Facebook. Do you regret turning down any role?
No, No, I regret not getting, some that you would have loved to have done, but nope.
Cody Joe Brown asks, in your years as an actress, even though you are so upbeat, what's the saddest thing you could say is prevalent in the business? What about the business makes you sad today?
Some of the ingratitude, some of the people who get to a very good point and they don't appreciate it. They think it's coming to them. They think it's their due. It isn't. There's always somebody right over there who can do it better.
Mr. Louis Salazar on Instagram, what has been the significance of the gay community in your career, and what do you have to say to those against gay advances like gay marriage and the like?
Oh, I don't care who you sleep with, whom you sleep with. I don't, it's what kind of a human being are you?
I've never understood why people have...
I don't understand. It's such a personal, private business and none of mine.
You're so right. Duck and Tigers 13 on Instagram, please tell us something candid from the set of Golden Girls that no one knows.
This shit is why I hate kind of the excuse, and I think we all understand this excuse to an extent, but the idea that, like, oh, they were born so long ago, of course they're bigoted. You don't have to be bigoted just because you were born back in the day. All it takes is empathy and understanding. Like, it's not that difficult.
Oh, no one knows what a sense of humor, real sense of humor, B. Arthur had. They always think of her as very fierce and austere, and she did give that image. She could be tough. She could be really tough. But she had a funny sense of humor, and she could tell a joke like nobody else.
Watch new episodes of Larry King Now, Monday.
This is exactly what...
Sky Come Up Fallen with 50 bits says, why her? Why her and not Mitch McConnell or Donald Trump or hundreds of other old douchebags? I know. Life isn't fair. Kirthan says, my dad was born in 1945 and happily walked me down the aisle when I married my wife. That's great.
What happened during the Great Herring War?
I'll read the tweet for context. It says, this Betty White scene from the Golden Girls still never fails to make me happy. 30-plus years later, Betty improvised most of the story, and Bea and Aru couldn't help but lose their composure and slip out of character. Rest in peace to a comedy queen.
The Great Herring War?
Yes, between the Lindstroms and the Johanssons.
Oh, that Great Herring War.
The two families control the most fertile herring waters off the coast of Norway, so naturally it seemed like it would be in their best interest to band together. Oh, boy, was that a mistake. You see, they couldn't agree on what to do with the herring.
Oh, well, that's understandable. I mean, the possibilities are overwhelming.
Exactly. The Johanssons wanted to pickle the herring, and the Lindstroms wanted to train him for the circus.
Weren't they kind of hard to see riding on the elephants?
Oh, not that kind of circus. A herring circus. Sort of like SeaWorld, only smaller. Much, much smaller. But bigger than a flea circus.
Tell me, Rose, did they ever shoot a herring out of a cannon?
Only once. But they shot him into a tree. After that, no other herring would do it.
Funny. Why is Tim Pool trending? Oh no! Tim Pool, you stupid motherfucker. PB and Jakin, thank you for following. Tim Pool, what an idiot. Okay, that's a story for another day. Back to Call being an idiot.
The idol worship in today's society is obviously pathetic, and it's obviously just, it's almost unfathomable. So these were things that I thought were very interesting. Remember, these things always come in threes. So when you see things in threes, like if you just hear like whoa, another person died? And then you got to think to yourself, okay, wait, how many people? Okay, 3.
Call. People die all the time. All you're going to do is go, okay, there's 3, there's 3, there's 3, when you could put them in any number, because people are constantly dying, you idiot. How do you not see you're doing this? You could make it any number. You could say, oh, in the last 10 years, 600 celebrities have died or whatever. It comes in 600s. People are dying and being born all the time, Call. It's how life works. Procagom says, damn, Tim Pool really changed the mood in 0.001 seconds, a new record. Yeah, it's the beanie. I think his brain's starved of oxygen. Marcus Drake says, speaking of Betty White ad-libbing, I found out her variety show in the 50s involved 5.5 hours of live ad-libbed television 6 days a week for 4 straight years. Holy shit. Betty White, the original streamer. Love Stuff says, really, Call was fast. Yeah, he is.
Okay, we have John Madden. We have the girl from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oops. Hawthorne with 100 bits says, how I imagine a conversation with... This can't be a real interview, right? This is fake. Ice Queen with 50 bits says, Bishop Tutu died and had to make a Tiffany less known than the one that toured malls. And he had to make it, yeah. That was funny.
Who I mentioned goes by the name of Tiffany Hale at 46, John Madden at 85, and then, of course, Betty White at 99. You have the date with the 31st inverted to the 13th with Friday the 13th. Look, that could be a stretch. You can look at it however you want. I'm just pointing...
That is a fucking stretch, Call. It was the 31st, and if you flip it, then it's 13! I guess. Why would you do that?
These things out. These are things that come to mind when I look at these things. And of course, this really bizarre tweet. Now you know the secret from Ryan Reynolds. And of course, we all know the secrets of these secret societies. Now, I wouldn't...
He's talking about what happens after you die, Call.
Be surprised if Betty White was a member of the Eastern Star. It's very hard to find out who the members are of these secret societies now. I think they've covered...
If you know about them, they're not a secret society. Fun fact.
Most of it up. Sometimes you can find a magazine cover with them on it. Sometimes, like Richard Dreyfuss. There's certain actors that don't even hide it and don't care. You'll see jewelry like Shaq, wearing it on a ring. Eastern Star is a little bit harder. Obviously, the logo is the satanic pentagram, the Baphomet pentagram. Somehow they get away with that. The same thing as the Satanic Temple uses, and nobody connects the dots. But usually the Eastern Star is a little bit more difficult to find information on unless these people openly admit it, like Laura Ingalls, the Little House on the Prairie character, or not character, but that show is based on she was openly admitted to being an Eastern Star.
Call. No one in your... Well, okay, your audience are probably older people. Most people don't know about Little House on the Prairie.
But I'm sure Betty White was obviously a member of the Eastern Star and these other secret societies, because they all are. That's how you become famous. And again, when the time comes and it's time for you to go, all they do is tap you on the shoulder, and that's it. You go. You do what you're told to do, right? Because remember, these people just don't go. They don't just go in their sleep. They usually they offer themselves as a ritual.
No, the report was that she died in her sleep.
Ritual sacrifice.
Which is about the best you can ask for, I think.
They give themselves up for the order. They believe that they come...
Baja says, does he not know Little House on the Prairie was a book series before the show? I read all those books. Nothing satanic in it. I do not know. Blackwing Hecate says, next thing you know, he'll be talking about the Hardy Boys show.
Back, full circle, and they probably... Who knows what they told, this is what the occult does. And this has been going on for years. I've covered it with people like Avicii, the guy who was dating Ariana Grande, who mysteriously went. Covered it with Prince, covered it with Robin Williams. It seems like it's just a constant thing. And
Robin Williams died like a decade ago. I don't mean to bum anyone out, but Robin Williams... Why is he acting like these things are close to each other? Robin Williams died in 2014. It's been 8 years, Call. That's not close to this. Catherine CD says, Little House is like the most wholesome shit ever. It starred Michael Landon, who also did Highway to Heaven. Hardcore religious dude. Oh, I know. I've seen Little House on the Prairie. My family were a big fan of that show.
I said it's either one of two. It's either, oh, they just go, they're old, or, you know, they overdose on something, or they take their own life. And there's really, people don't really question it or look into it because they don't.
Because people die, Call. Like, especially if you're 99 years old, but people die.
Believe that these things occur, but like the clip I showed you from the Believers, they do occur. And I get it. People go, well, she's 99, so it's, you know, it naturally can't happen. Well, she was, you know, fine the day before, and, you know, these are types of...
Yeah, that's how death works. You're alive, and then you're dead. That's how dying works. What? What the fuck? Marcus Drake says, you're of course right in common parlance, but fun fact, secret societies and mystery cults are called that because we know of their existence but not their rituals. Arguably, Christianity was a mystery cult for a while, which I think is pretty neat.
The things they do, they pick dates, they check out on certain dates, they upload their consciousness and do all that other nonsense that they believe.
No, Call. No one uploads consciousnesses. That's not something that is possible. At least not with anything we know of. I'm not going to predict the future. Gray Dutch, thanks for 20 months, says being 99 to find someone is not fine. Yeah, right?
Even that they believe makes them...
You could be healthy for a 99-year-old, but you can't really be healthy and a 99-year-old.
Transhuman or immortal. And the rest of the world just sees what they see on the news, and they think it's life and death, and it's... you know, they get all emotionally upset because there's not going to be new
Does Cole just think celebrities don't die? Like, what does he think?
episodes of the Golden Girls, I guess, or whatever, because they think that they know these celebrities and they worship these celebrities, but in reality...
Cole, people can respect people and like their work without worshiping them. You know that, right?
These celebrities are working society, these celebrities are conditioning society, and these celebrities are engineering and molding society. So, Betty White at the age of 99, no longer here.
Surprised he didn't talk about her, like, pro-LGBT stances, probably because he didn't know about them. Because he probably doesn't actually know anything about her. He just wanted to put her name in a video so he could get clicks.
Then again, like I said earlier, they usually come in threes. You had Madden, you had the girl from the Mickey Mouse Club, you had the bizarre tweet from Ryan Reynolds, you have the first picture they show on national TV.
Ice Queen with 50 bits says he knows the Golden Girls ended 30 years ago, right? And she was the last one alive, right? I don't know what he knows. Astro Fox says, how do I sign up for this consciousness upload thing? I want my virtual ideal furry NB body, damn it. 2 words. VR chat. Blackwing Hecate says, today on a sanity break for an uprising, Call discovers parasocial relationships. Lily Love Stuff says, my 96-year-old great-grandma was diabetic with one leg and used to still get up in her wheelchair and twerk. A true hero. KF Logan, thank you for raiding. Welcome, raiders. I'm Hannah. I am a leftist streamer. I cover all sorts of stuff. Today we're looking at all sorts of weird conspiracy theories. We're just finishing up a video on a conspiracy theorist that's claiming that Betty White was sacrificed to a secret society. Surprise, she wasn't. She was 99 years old. R.I.P. Betty White. But go check out KF Logan's channel. There's a link in chat. Go check him out. Lots of fun. TubeMan642 says, every time I hear conspiracy theorists like Call, all I can think of is this scene from Black Dynamite.
What else melts in your mouth?
Eminem! I can't play this. I do think that scene's funny, though. I've seen it before. Just Belmont, thanks for 9 months. This stream baby is going to be named, what was Betty White's character's name from The Golden Girls? Someone let me know, because that's the stream baby's name. Rose. What was her last name? Sky Comet Fallen says, you must buy an Oculus and sell your soul to Mark Zuckerberg to upload your consciousness into VR chat. Rose Nyland? Okay, that's the stream baby's name. Rose Nyland.
TV for the New Year's Eve television show, of course, has the 666 with Dick Clark. I've seen her holding up devil horns and things like that. So just things I wanted to point out to the audience out there. For those of you with eyes to see and ears to hear. Reminder to check out the website at callforanuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. If you haven't checked it out, please consider doing so. It is well worth it. A lot of great information being shared over there. Hope to see everybody over there at some point. I want to thank everyone who is a patron. Because of you, it keeps me here on YouTube. So thank you so much. And again, thank you to those of you who thumbs up the comments. Let me know what you think about this situation in the comment section below. It's okay to agree to disagree. Right now, I'm one way or the other. I mean, I usually believe that most of these celebrities have a time, a date, expiration date that's...
Yeah, everyone does. We all die, call. Rageology with 100 bits says, New Year, same call. Grinding down the subtle complexities of the world into joyless little bits, tiny enough to pass through a small-minded, bigoted, and bile-soaked interpretation of a religion he can't even understand. Ooh, good stuff. Yeah, we'll check bingo once this is done in a second.
Predetermined when they're going to be ritually exit, which is part of the contract that they take, that they offer themselves.
He thinks celebrities make contracts with Satan to become famous.
Up, of course, to Satan at the end. They don't just go in their sleep, that the ritual is performed. I believe that very much so. And if Betty White is as famous as it seems, of course, I would believe that. Doesn't.
This guy comment and says, call you dipshit. That was sign language for I love you. This is not this. Yeah.
Matter 99 or not. But I know a lot of people just say, well, it's natural, and that's understandable too. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I thank you guys for being here. Hope you're all well. God bless you and your families.
I hate Call.
If you've ever had the...
God, he's just uploading more and more again. Oh yeah, he has another video where he thinks January 5th is going to be the day we all die. So let's check that out in a sec once we check the bingo card. Let me see the bingo card. I don't think I cleared this off yet, so this is not accurate. Let me take them all off so we can reload it. Reload it. That's a weird thing to say. Okay, let's see. Hannah mentions cheese on the bingo card. Illuminati Freemasons. Satanic. Numerology used as evidence. Spurious symbology as evidence. Procagam says, gotta reload the board. Hannah, reload. Reload it like a Bible. Funny. Call sites media from 20 years ago. Fuck it, sure. Normally I wouldn't, but that's fine. By the way, people who came from the raid, we do conspiracy bingo and we do conspiracy days. So if you want to get a bingo card, there's links in the chat. And the first person to win bingo gets a gift sub that they can either have for themselves or tell me to gift to someone else, whatever you'd prefer. What would the upload thing count as? I don't think that counts as anything. Let me look at page 2 of the bingo card. Call for ban evasion? No, that only counts if he's, like, actively making new channels or talking about getting a strike. That's what that space is for. Let me see... Claims a dead celebrity is alive and working to overthrow the powers that be. No, he's not saying Betty White's overthrowing. He says she was sacrificed, so that wouldn't be it. Misattribution of coincidence. We already have spurious symbology, which are pretty close, but I think spurious symbology is closer. Believe sci-fi exists? Yeah. Did anyone see what number believe sci-fi exists is? '84. Science fiction is fact. Yes. 64 is the Tim Pool tweet we saw. True. Does anyone see the sci-fi one? I'm really bad at looking at big lists like this. My ADHD brain doesn't let me compartmentalize and read them individually. No, not forced sterilization. Not ad hominem. It was on the first page? Okay. Where is it? 35? Thank you. Okay, that should be it. Correlation isn't causation? No. All right. I'm very curious about this. I know we just covered a Call video, but Call apparently thinks that on January 5th, everyone who got vaccinated is going to die or something. Of course, that isn't true. The vaccinations are safe, effective, and you should get them and get the booster when you can, please. So let's take a look.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is...
Sorry, I got a scam text message.
A call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I've been meaning to cover this for a few weeks. I've been waiting for the new year to come in, so it's closer to the actual deadline for this occurring. But January 5th, 2022 is the big 5G rollout, which they announced last year. A lot of 5G towers are going to be activated, and this is going to be a huge, huge deal. Not just because of the EMFs, which will...
For the record, literally, yes, 5G on the bingo card, of course. For the record, I guess I should show you guys this. Hold on. I don't know how well this is going to show up. My phone literally has 5G right now. I have 5G in the entire house. I live in an area that's 5G covered, most of it. When I go out, most of the time I have 5G, just to be clear. Can you see that? The 5G. Focus, camera. Gosh darn it. I can't get it to focus. Come on. You bitch. It's 5G. It's not easy to see, but I have 5G coverage right now. I do have a foldy phone, yes. It's very cool. I love this phone. It did cost $1,800, though. And I'll be paying it off for the next 2 years. It's okay. It's zero interest. Mike Mack says, I guess I'm a ghost because my Fold 3 and Wi-Fi uses 5G. Yeah, I have 5G. Not only do I have a phone, I have a smartwatch that I wear that Baja got me for Christmas. So, I guess I'm dead.
Affect everyone, not just because...
May you ask what 5G refers to? I don't have 5G, but I do have 5D. 5G is 5th generation cell phone data technology. It's basically a faster way to receive data to your mobile devices. Super Greggy Pants says, oh boy, does Call think we're living in the plot of the Kingsmen? I guess so. I don't think he's seen that movie, though, since it didn't come out before the year 2000.
Of what it's going to do from a standpoint of what the media is talking about, causing issues with airplanes and other types of technology out there, potentially causing accidents and things like that to occur. But obviously, we're all very well aware of a certain something that's something that people have been putting inside of them.
Here we go. It's time to report Call's video again. Do 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 do. Spammer misleading. No. Harmful or dangerous acts? Other dangerous acts. Claims vaccines are harmful. And that 5G is going to kill people. Report! Oh boy, uh-oh, I'm accidentally hitting the share button at this timestamp. Uh-oh, finger slip.
That can be triggered.
Blackwing Hackety with 45-bit says, I'm waiting for Foldy phone tech to get better and come down in price before I get into it. Understandable. I like this kind of shit, though, so I was willing to pay for it, especially considering I use it for my job anyway, so it's fine.
With the waves of a 5G tower, which could cause a massive, well, zombie-like apocalypse. Let's just...
No, it can't. No, it cannot. No, it can't. It's not entirely a tax write-off. Only part of it is. But anyway... Ooh, what am I rolling on? Oh, it's fine. Anyway, the actual wavelengths, the electromagnetic spectrum that 5G uses, is already around us all the time. In fact, I believe it was one of the... I did it as dangerous acts, but you could also do probably misleading or spam, whatever. As long as you actually in the report explain what he's doing and he's being anti-vax and saying 5G is dangerous, you can report it. Because that is against their TOS. So anyway, 25% of your internet is a tax write-off. Yeah, some of mine is too. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so like the electromagnetic spectrum that 5G uses, to my understanding, used to be used for broadcast television, but now that they nixed broadcast television using like analog waves and stuff, and now it's digital, they auctioned off those rights, and it was bought by, you know, companies that developed 5G. So, yeah, they're not new. It's just using them for different things. Anyway, forced sterilization, population control. Yeah, I'd count this.
Just say that, even though a lot of people don't want to believe it. The truth of the matter is, the reality that we see around us is not.
Mike Max says, Call, you're not being a good Christian because you're becoming a false prophet. Becoming? I think he's been one for a while.
The real reality of what's going on. And the things that we talk about on this channel, and that a lot of you research on your own, are the actual truths of what's going on in this world, as crazy as they sound. So the 5G rollout is coming on the 5th. They're already warning people about potentially dangerous problems. Boeing and other companies want to push back on the 5G rollout because they are afraid of what might happen with air travel.
That doesn't even make sense. 5G signals don't travel very far. 5G signals are as such that they are stronger when you are close to them and can transmit data very quickly. But their signal drops incredibly fast when you get further away from them. So an airplane that is like already up in the air away from the airport should not be susceptible to 5G at all. Like, you need 5G towers all over the place. You need way more 5G towers to transmit 5G than you would like a 4G cell phone tower, because it has a longer range, but it's slower. So no, I do not think so, Call.
This is part of the show, of course. They want there to be problems with air travel. They want less and less people to travel. More and more flights are getting canceled because Omni. And this, of course, is going to eventually, we're going to see the passport put in place. Less people being able to travel for work, more people losing their jobs, and, of course, more borders.
Get Zoom, Call. Lily loves stuff. Or, you know, be a responsible adult and get vaccinated. Lily Loves Stuff with 50-bit says, oh, guess what I found out this morning? My first interaction with my mother this year is finding out my mom believes that Bill Gates is using vaccines to kill people in Africa. And thus, I am to real racist for getting vaccinated. She's a nurse in your state, so enjoy that knowledge. Okay, that's gonna be Why Is It Always Michigan on the bingo card.
Put into place, restrictions put into place with people going in and out of states being pretty much quarantined into their states, which is what is to come. But let's look at how the media at least is talking about this with the 5G rollout.
Major warning from the airlines. A brand new G5 wireless network could
G5. Astrofox, which I assume is saying what they're about to say in this news thing. There are debates about the air travel industry. There are concerns that 5G signals may interfere with the system they use to land, take off in low visibility conditions. Sounds like the solution to that, if that is the case, would be to ban 5G towers within a certain distance of an airport. Has nothing to do with what Call's actually saying about the zombie thing. H. Baird says, cell phones can mess up certain airplane instruments, namely very high-frequency omnidirectional radial. Most airlines use GPS nowadays, but the VORs define a lot of the airways.
Havoc with flights in the new year. Following yesterday's Senate hearing, the head of United Airlines called on AT&T and Verizon to slow down the rollout of their G5 service. He says it could delay or divert or even cancel flights and impact hundreds of thousands of passengers. The reason? Well, the FAA and aviation experts say the 5G network could interfere with sensitive technology on the planes. But as we've reported here, it's fine in other countries, and the FCC is now pushing back. Here's NBC's Kerry Sanders.
Cell phone companies have hyped 5G as a major leap forward in technology, allowing data to move faster than ever before. But just weeks before AT&T and Verizon's 5G towers go live, a warning about possible interference with crucial technology pilots rely on, specifically altimeters, an instrument.
And they're saying it's in other countries already, so maybe just they're being overly cautious, which I don't have a problem with being overly cautious. I'd rather they be overly cautious than underly cautious about it, but if the evidence doesn't bear out their concerns, then it doesn't bear out their concerns. Blackwing Hecate says, I wonder if Call knows about how evil the United Nations organization, the World Health Organization, is. Spongy Lord with 100 bits says, I scrolled through comments on that video you reported. A lot of people claiming they're feeling the effects of 5G already. They're attributing their recent headaches, stomach problems, and mental issues to 5G. Yeah, of course they are. They can't just go see a doctor.
Used in almost every landing. It tells pilots the plane's distance from the ground. Imperative when landing in low visibility or bad weather. Just last week, the Federal Aviation Administration issuing an extraordinary airworthiness directive that reads, in part, altimeters cannot be relied upon to perform their intended function if they experience interference from wireless broadband operations. Airline executives on Capitol Hill Wednesday.
I think if you were to ask us what our number one concern is here in the near term, it is the deployment of 5G.
The airline industry warns flights could be canceled or forced to divert to airports without 5G interference, potentially impacting thousands of flights a day and millions of passengers, especially at big airports nationwide. The airline industry is urging cooperation to resolve the issue.
We could absolutely solve this and live in a world where there is 5G available.
The cellular industry and the Federal Communications Commission say 5G has already rolled out in over 40 countries around the world without impacting aviation. AT&T and Verizon are also committing to reduced 5G power levels near airports.
Does it make sense, though, that one hand of the government, the FAA, and the other hand of the government, the FCC, didn't figure this out in advance?
They have not been.
Wait, is that guy surprised the government is incompetent? Oh boy.
Been able to get in the same room and reach consensus to this point.
Troubling to you?
It's causing a degradation in aviation safety. It's very troubling to me.
Again, the issue is with 5G cell phone towers, not the cell phones that we all use. And it's important to note that government engineers say that the frequency that T-Mobile uses does not interfere with a plane's avionics.
Okay, so it sounds like they shouldn't allow, if it is a concern, and they actually test it, and it's a genuine concern, then the issue would just be don't allow towers to have signals within a certain distance of airports. I don't know how Call is going to turn this into a conspiracy thing.
Interesting, right? Another thing, of course, is interesting. I'm sure you remember I covered this with the Stretch Armstrong, predictive programming, and, this is something that people should keep in mind as far as humans are concerned, because if they have something inside of them which could react.
Microchips on the bingo card. Microchip implants on the bingo card.
Act to the radio frequencies and the radio waves that come from a specific tower, we could have something like this go on.
But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.
Oh, the Stretch Armstrong show. There's a kid's cartoon show based on Stretch Armstrong. It's like a reboot of the Stretch Armstrong character as a superhero. And I guess in this show they had chips inside people, which Call is using to declare that it's predictive programming. Baja says, LMAO, airlines being overly cautious about 5G, but Delta Airlines was the one that pushed CDC to say people with COVID can go back to work. Oh my god, I hate this country. I really, really do. Oh god, Delta Airlines asked for this. Yikes. CDC staff I spoke to weren't aware of the guidance until it dropped. Says staff is now being asked to write scientific justification. Good effing lord. It's like that movie Don't Look Up. I hate it. I hate it all. That's not how science works. For what specifically? Like the thing with the CDC? I guess I showed it on stream. That counts, sure. Have that's not how science works. Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, Happy New Year, Hannah. The 31st was my birthday, and I went to a friend's outdoor party to celebrate. Lo and behold, have been exposed to COVID. Happy birthday to me. Taking a rapid antigen test now. Wish me luck. Good luck. We'll go over the bingo card after the video. Capitalism needs blood sacrifice to run. That it does.
Oh, nothing scary about that at all.
It's a cartoon for children, Call. Why were you watching Stretch Armstrong?
Right? And of course, as I've covered on this channel, talking about the World Economic Forum, they talked about the Great Reset, and the Great Reset had everything to do with 5G and technology and getting technology inside of you and how 5G was going to run and control the world. And they weren't just talking about driverless cars and things like that where people think, oh, well, that's what's going to happen with. They were talking about full control of humans.
Call, you can't control humans like that. We do not have technology to control someone unilaterally. We don't even understand the brain well enough to do that, theoretically.
The first thing about 5G is it's an opportunity for transformation.
These technologies will form the world of the future. We cannot afford to be written out of that future.
You have to keep in mind that more or less everything will change.
We as an industry classify 5G as better speeds, lower latency, and the ability to connect with a very large number of devices that are suited for very high-end applications.
Some of the applications that are likely to come from...
Call always takes these, like, basically advertisements super seriously, and I don't know why. Is this another, like, World Economic Forum thing?
5G, autonomous driving, developments in the healthcare area, smart cities, manufacturing, energy.
The 4G technology is connecting people. The 5G technology will be connecting objects.
Yeah,
when we talk about global connectivity, the relevant measure would be the number of connected devices. If there's roughly 20 billion connected devices today, it's projected globally there will be 50 billion connected devices by the year 2030 alone.
In order to be able to handle all of this traffic, you require a network that is much more flexible, and that's what 5G will bring.
It will be machines talking to machines, IoT or Internet of Things.
Admiral Owl, thanks for 14 months.
Manufacturing, for example, you can monitor much better all of the machinery that is part of the manufacturing process as well as the logistics.
You can start to predict and anticipate where the defects will happen. And as a result, you can improve the efficiency that can translate into billions of dollars of savings for the industry.
Just imagine a new scenario where everything is connected. Do we need traffic lights? We don't need traffic.
Did I hear Elon saying something about getting people to Mars within a decade? I mean, in fairness, he said he was going to do that years ago anyway. Like, I think his original timeline for Mars was getting people to Mars in, like, 2020 or 2021 or something. I can't remember.
Traffic lights?
He's constantly making shit up, so.
You just speak and say, I'm going home. The network knows where your home is. The network knows where all the cars and the traffic is.
The result of that ends up being reduced energy consumption, reduced carbon footprint.
For many years, environmental policy relied on educated guesses and hunches. There wasn't really a very strong evidence base.
Yes, the solution to the problems of capitalism, according to this organization. More capitalism. Great. Blackwing Hecate says, going to Mars is like cold fusion and small solar cells, continually 30 years away.
This is where I think technology can help us far outpace what we've been doing in the past.
What 5G will open up is this instrumentation and transportation of data that could really take healthcare to a completely new level. Right now, if someone's having a heart attack, there's no way of sensing that. 5G and beyond will allow the early detection well before you even feel the symptoms.
5G is going to underpin.
No company, if we're talking about capitalism, is ever going to take on that liability. Because I have a thing on my smartwatch, for instance, that monitors heart rate and heart rhythm, and it explicitly says on there, this is not to be used for detecting a heart attack, because they don't want to be liable if someone has a heart attack and the thing doesn't tell them. No company's gonna do that. That's not how it works.
The digital economy in many countries. And that's why it's really important that we get these enabling
Annie Kai, thanks for 8 months, says, looks like I'm 1 month from a sub, baby.
conditions right.
But I think we have a behavioural issue that we need to address. We spend a lot of time engaged with our devices to the extent that we're looking at how do we actually make people look up when they cross the road. There's one thing about being a smart city. The other challenge is, do you use this technology well? Does it make us happier people? Do we use the city in a
No. Technology isn't going to make you happy.
better way?
We need to focus on not just the near-term economic benefit for the corporate world, but the societal benefit that 5G will bring.
If you put a VR...
It's so weird to me that they qualify like that as if it's obvious that the corporate interest should come first, but we also need to think of society. How about you fucking flip it? What? What the fuck? I hate everyone.
A lab in a school, the students can explore the pyramids of Egypt or even the solar system. But on the continent, there are challenges with even basic internet access today.
A lot of infrastructure in countries is built by governments in order to attract corporate investment. So governments need to decide what are the infrastructure elements they should be encouraging.
KBS666 says there are heart monitors you can wear at home, but they're not cheap and are worn on the chest, not the wrist.
Investment in.
5G gives us the potential to leapfrog into the next generation of connectivity. And I really hope policymakers, tech entrepreneurs,
Fucking World Economic Forum. I hate these guys.
mobile operators, civil society activists pay real attention to making sure that this era of human history really becomes the generation where we close that gap between the rich and poor parts of the world.
The World Economic Forum basically feels like a global system. The World Economic Forum, to me, basically feels like a bunch of corporations coming together and trying to figure out how to best develop developing nations in order to exploit their labor and resources for the good of large corporations. It has nothing to do with developing, you know, real infrastructure to help people. It has everything to do with how can we best exploit these developing economies, and it is so fucking gross.
So these are all things to keep an eye on as this rollout occurs on January 5th, which is right around the corner. It's obviously a few days from now. And you can expect lots of things to happen. You hear weird...
Oh, good. Call's making an actual prediction. This is good, because this is 4 days away. So in 4 days, when nothing happens, will Call admit that he's an idiot? I doubt it.
Stories about behavior. Those are things to keep an eye on. Behavior changes in people. Why? Because these are the types of things that can cause that. Obviously, we know the dangers of EMF and these types of waves on people in general who don't even have the...
There isn't a danger of EMF. Not a thing.
A specific something inside of them. Imagine those who do and what it could do to them. AT&T
5G is not ionizing. You're fine.
and Verizon, they're the ones who have been given authorization by the FCC to deploy C-band spectrum 5G wireless with a rollout scheduled January 5th. The Federal Aviation Administration, as you heard in the video earlier, as well as CEOs of Boeing and Airbus America's pushback on the agreement, noting that 5G can cause potential flight diversions and delays, which it won't really... Much won't come of it because they can't blame... If something was to happen with an airline or something like that, and they blamed it on 5G, then people would say, we got to get rid of the 5G. They don't want people to say, get rid of the 5G. They want people to say, give us the 6G. So that's why it's never going to be a thing where people have to worry.
Psychotropic Thunder says, 5G is several thousand times less powerful than visible light.
Worry about that type of stuff. It's just the give.
Nothing's going to happen with 5G, and then eventually 6G is going to start being developed and come around, and Call's going to do this all over again, even though he was wrong. I don't know if he ever actually made 4G videos, but I guarantee if 6G comes around, he'll do the exact same thing.
Given the take, the push and the pull, as always, they want to give you a little bit of something, to give you a little bit of, oh, wait, is this okay? Is it sure? Are we sure? I'm a little nervous. Instead of just saying, it's what's best for you. There's nothing to be worried about. They always give you a little breadcrumb of, oh, but maybe it's not the best thing. And then it comes out and nothing happens and everyone goes, that's a
So you know it, nothing's going to happen.
relief. Let's move on to 6G. That's how.
You see, nothing happening is part of my prediction of their nefarious plan, and therefore, when I fail, I'm really succeeding. Genius. Raven G3226 says, RN, China is doing some infrastructure stuff for Africa. I don't mean to suck off China, but they're actually helping them in a material way. The only reason America does stuff like that is to exploit resources, and most of the time leaves places worse off. Meanwhile, the CNN BBC coverage of the situation is China bad. In fairness, China is not doing this altruistically. You could argue that they're doing it mutually beneficially. I don't know about the details, but for instance, China building ports in various cities or updating ports in various cities in Africa, or all around the coasts of Africa. They're doing so, but then as a deal, they want free access for their ships to enter and exit the ports. Seems like a mutually beneficial consideration. I can't speak to it. I'm not well researched, but acting as though it's only altruistic is naive. Countries don't generally do things for only altruism. But I do think that a foreign policy that deals in mutual benefit is a really good thing. Unfortunately, China also runs concentration camps, so that fucking sucks. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm sure they're gonna go in there and try and exploit resources of Africa, just like the UK did, just like the United States did. It's, I guess, their turn as a superpower to fuck over developing countries. It's unfortunate.
That's how this stuff works. The top airlines trade group filed an emergency request for the Federal Communications, the FCC, to delay the rollout, which again is on January 5th. There's massive pushback from pretty much just the airlines. Wireless companies have agreed to roll out the 5G service at reduced power for a temporary amount of time in order to compromise with airline groups. But Airlines for America said that that would not be enough, the news outlets noted. So, you know, it'll be, it's at a reduced power, which it probably won't even be at. That's just them, you know, trying to tell people that they're being extra safe for people who are nervous about, you know, this type of technology. They say despite these meritless claims, the wireless industry continues to collaborate in good faith with the aviation industry, the FAA, and the FCC, and remains confident with a positive resolution can be reached. Well, they're only 5 days away, so you can count on this thing absolutely being rolled out, more of these towers being turned on.
Again, it reaches my house. I have 5G coverage as we speak. It's been this way since Baja and I moved into this house months ago. I'm just bathing in it every day, Colin. I've been vaccinated for almost a year. Not quite a year. A year minus 4 months or so. It's fine. Nothing's happening, Col. Chill out. Dr. White with 100 bits says, at this point, I just assume exploiting Africans is the rite of passage to become a superpower. Oh, I hate the world. I really do. Why are humans awful? Why are we such dog shit to each other? We can't just help each other mutually. We have to one-up each other and hurt each other to exploit those who have, you know, less resources than us already. It's fucked up.
And then, like I said, you have to keep an eye on behavior, human behavior, how people are acting. Stories that come out about weird things that people are doing, you know, behavioral-wise. Not just like moods and things like that, attacks and just weird random things. I mean,
does Cole not realize that most Wi-Fi routers give off 5G signals in your own home? I didn't know that.
Obviously the mainstream media is not going to report on people foaming at the mouth and things like that. They never will, they never have. They only cover the things that fit in their best interest of their agendas. They can't wake anyone up to what's actually going on. But this is something that's really important for all of us to keep an eye on. It's something I'm going to cover continuously as we get to January 5th and then after, keeping an eye on stories surrounding weird events that might occur, any types of things that are happening to people who live near these towers, obviously anything that happens behavioral-wise.
Call, I've been in 5G for months, and trust me, I was already like this before the 5G, so it hasn't affected me. Oh god, I hope the 5G doesn't make me cis or straight. Ugh.
And, you know, what can you say? Be prepared for the zombie apocalypse. A lot of people have been talking about since the potion that all it takes is them to turn a switch on. Well, this would be that switch. So keep an eye on this. Make sure you share this with people and they're aware. I know a lot of people think this time.
Oh, someone was confusing 5 gigahertz frequencies with 5G. Gotcha.
Type of stuff is crazy, but that's because they just live in the world where they think reality is on the news and they don't realize that they've been completely duped.
Tube Man with 100 bits says if 5G signals were literally killing people, I think even every news organization on Earth would be talking about it. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but killing your labor force is really bad for business.
Completely lied to, and the dangers of technology and what they're doing are severe and serious, and as humans, we've continued to allow them to get away with this stuff with no regulations and no restrictions.
I'm pretty sure there are regulations surrounding broadcast and stuff like this. Cell phone signals, there are absolutely regulations called.
See it happening right in front of your face, you know, like the EMF waves and stuff. You can't see it right in front of your eyes, you know, unless you have something on or some type of glasses, some type of way to read the waves. Then people don't care.
Wait, does Call think that you can put on glasses like in They Live and see radio waves?
They only care if it's like, oh, I got wounded, there's a wound on me, I got shot or something like that. Then they care. But nothing.
I would care if I was shot, yes.
As long as it's not happening right in front of their face, they just think it's safe, it's fine, nothing's happening, you're crazy, you're tinfoil hat wearer, because they're not.
You literally are. You literally are, and I know a thing or two about tinfoil, believe me.
Naive fools. So I'll keep an eye on the story, I'll report, I'll cover it. I'll also be covering on the website at callfornuprising.com. Again, check out the website if you haven't. Share your channel, share your info, share what's going on in your town. It's really important that we all stay connected. That's the place to do it. I'm not sure how long I'll be here on YouTube. I'm one strike away, of course, from 2-week ban. So please make sure you sub to my backup channel, The Fire Rises, which is pasted below. And
here's a link to this video for, you know, apropos of nothing.
I want to thank all of you and the Patrons for being here. Appreciate all of you greatly. Thank you so much. God bless you and your families.
So that was that. I'm glad we're done with Call for the day. He's still delusional and crazy, and at least this time he actually set a goalpost that we can make fun of in a couple days. Well, 4. Call for ban evasion there? Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you. Let's take a look at the bingo card while we're at it. See you later, Call. Tracking microchip implants. A call for ban evasion. Probably PSYOP, because he was saying that the airports are gonna fake having issues. He did not say, huh. He did not, I don't think he said, do your own research. 5G, of course. Hold on, I gotta add another one. I'm out of the bingo things on the thing. Add source. Where's the damn bingo thing? There it is. "5G. Not correlation, I don't think. Stogie Goat, thanks for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Let's take a look at page 2 and see if there's anything. I'll say moves goalposts based on him saying, well, nothing will, it's going to happen on the 5th. Well, no, it's not, but it is, but it's not. I'm just going to say that's not how science works for, like, everything he said. Why is always Michigan? Reference to the movie They Live with the glasses thing. Gene the Scorn says, hi, have my bits. Well, thank you. Okay, I think that's it. No bingos yet? We've had a lot of bingo spaces called out. That's surprising. Oh, I gotta switch my sub goal thing over to January. Whoops. I did get my sub goal last month. The thing just isn't updating for some reason. I gotta find a new plugin for the sub goal thing because this doesn't count like 2/3 of my subs. Honestly, more than that, because I currently have more than 300 subs by a lot. I don't know if I'm allowed to say how many subs I have on Twitch. I don't know how that works. Let's try someone new, because we've covered a lot of call, and we've covered call plenty. Let's go with these guys. It only counts new subs. I know, but I want one that counts all subs. Because that's more fun. Most of my viewers are recurring. I, of course, do. I have growth. I'm getting new followers. I'm getting closer and closer to 10,000 followers, in fact. But man, I really want it to be satisfying when people gift subs, even if it's to a lot of other people. Has Peter done anything recently? Not in the last 2 weeks. Since Donald Trump came out in support of the boosters, Peter has not posted. Citosaurus says, let's watch Gina stop pixelating me. We'll watch her later. I want to watch these new people I haven't watched before. Don't you get a monthly report showing how many subs you had that month? Oh, I do. I know how many I get. Again, I don't know if I can share that information or if I even would if I could. But yeah, I know how many subs I get a month. It's more than this. The recurring ones, and I want one that counts the recurring ones. But whatever. Anyway, I guess I could just set the thing lower. It's less fun now. Either way, right now I'll turn it off because it's not accurate anyway. Subscription goal. Turned off. Cool. Tucker White with 50-bit says, do you get a report that tells you how many tops you get? Send tweet. Funny! I believe you can share, but you can't say your exact cut. Okay. I don't want to tell people anyway. That's private. It's a decent number. It's a decent number. It's above 100, but below 1,000. Alright, let's watch these guys. So this is a couple that I've never covered before. This is someone talking about mud flood. If you don't know what mud flood is, this is a conspiracy theory that involves people believing that modern cities, buildings, stuff like that from the early 1900s, around there, were not actually built by people in the 1900s, but are actually ancient cities. Some claim Babylonian, some claim otherwise, and that they were just buried in the Americas for millennia until Americans got there. You know, Americans, not natives, but like people who came and colonized, just unearthed these cities and started living in them. It's wacko. So let's take a look. Meek says, all we know is that it's higher than corn cobs. That's probably not true. Jake probably has more subs than me.
What's up, y'all?
Thank you, UVD Sempervirens.
So, the fun part, check, sounds working. The fun part about researching resets.
My researcher said not by my research said not by a researcher on the bingo card.
Is that, at least in the US, they happened everywhere. So they most likely happened in a local city that you may live near towards. And you can go investigate these things yourself because there's still remnants of those times. San Francisco, I lived for a little bit in San Francisco growing up, and San Francisco is a really weird place because it just has a really weird vibe, and it's the same vibe that like I got from being in Shanghai. It was the same vibe I got in Japan.
His evidence is vibes. Okay, Tucker White says Mudflood sounds like the nickname of Redneck Woodstock.
Same vibe I got in Nicaragua. Just like something wrong happened there. Like beautiful places, but definitely have weird vibes. San Francisco, for sure, has a very strange vibe. And when you're there and you walk around and you look at the architecture, you can tell that there has been multiple periods have gone by in this city's history.
Yeah, that's all cities. Cities, by their very nature, are metropolitan centers where lots of people congregate, and as the city expands, as population increases, you build new buildings. So some buildings, like let's look at a city like New York, this works for basically any city though, you'll have older buildings that are historical, you'll have newer buildings that are very nice and new and use new architectural techniques and styles. It's not uncommon.
And
they don't build a whole city in one night. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say.
And so, since I got into researching resets, I found out that San Francisco is one of like the main reset cities in the U.S. Chicago is another one of a major reset city, but San Francisco has actually had probably multiple resets. San Francisco is built on the San Andreas
If this guy went to London, his brain would melt.
Fault, right on the middle of it, right on a small peninsula. So you got a lot of people in a very small amount of area. So
we have mainstream accounts of these resets. I mean, there's earthquakes and fires from, 1890 to 1906. There were...
Oh god, I just noticed his American flag is upside down. If you don't know, upside down American flags, or upside down flags in general, I guess, but normally it's an American flag that I've seen, is a distress signal. It means you are in immediate danger. It's an SOS, basically, yes. I'm guessing this guy is like a far-right Trump supporter type who feels that the nation has been stolen or something. Conspiracy theorist type, basically. Blackwing Hecate with 45-bit says, if every vampire who said he was at the crucifixion was actually there, it would have been like Woodstock. I was actually at Woodstock. It was a weird gig. I fed off a flower person and I spent the next 6 hours watching my hands move. Who says that? Logarth says, this guy sounds a lot like the guy that would hang out at a local gas station in my old hometown. They would always have an 8-ball in his mouth.
5?
Cites a study from the 18th or 19th century. Not a study, he's citing buildings and things that happened. Ice Queen says, Spike from Buffy. Gotcha.
7.
Haven't seen Buffy, sorry. I've seen a couple episodes. I haven't actually sat down and watched it.
7 major fires or earthquakes.
And we're talking
in this
about
very
city
small area.
Destroyed. I mean, one of them...
Before 1906.
Yes.
Like before.
Yes.
Before the one we were all taught in school. Before the earthquake and fire that they shoved down our throats in elementary school. At least for both of us. Growing up in California, they shoved the earthquake of San Francisco down our throats, as well as the gold rush.
Well, I mean, they're trying to teach you your state's history. In elementary, I also had, we had, of course, U.S. history and world history. World history actually might have come later in middle school. I don't know. But we also had 1 year where we did Michigan history in my elementary school. Yeah, they teach you the history of your state. That's not uncommon. Hydrate. And of course, giant earthquakes that destroy a large part of a city, that's a pretty big part of your history.
So... finding out, starting to research this stuff and finding out that San Francisco is a reset town is no shock to me, always having a very weird vibe from a place. So the mainstream says that basically San Francisco was empty before 1949 or 1948 when the gold rush started, and was basically had scattered buildings, a very small town site, and that's it. And basically from 1849 to 1870-ish, 1880-ish, which is all of these photos, 1890s, 1900, turn of the century, that era, the next 35 years after the gold rush, they allegedly built all of these buildings. And You know, if you're not questioning it, if you're some kid learning it in school, you're like, okay, well, I don't know who built those buildings.
So he's just surprised that they were able to build buildings quickly? Why? Strawberry for Wi-Fi says, does this guy ever cover Black Wall Street? It's literally a reset city, and it was covered up for 100 years. I doubt it. Dr. White says, this might be a stupid question, but what the fuck is a reset city? I'm guessing it's a city that basically has to restart and recover after a major disaster of some sort.
Someone did at some point, so that's all that matters, really. But while researching resets, you know, that's kind of, you know, you don't think like that way anymore. You think of like, okay, how did we build all this stuff? And
because people put time, money, energy, and labor into rebuilding the city because it was in a desirable location and there's no reason to not rebuild it.
And when these guys were allegedly out in the mines working, allegedly they were, you know, most of them were illiterate, definitely don't know good math enough to be a contractor. But these guys were all out in the gold fields working.
What? Do you think the people who mined the gold were the same people that built the buildings? Do you understand how a gold rush works? Okay, when a gold rush happens in any area, when it did happen at least, people would not only go out there in order to try and strike it rich by finding a gold deposit, they would go to work for companies that had set up there to take advantage of the economic boom in the area. So, in the area, if there's a disaster like an earthquake or a fire or whatever and things get destroyed, there's a lot of incentive to rebuild quickly so you can rebuild that infrastructure to allow people to get back to work and mine that gold, because there's wealth to be had for the workers, for the owners, for the local businesses who will serve the workers and the owners, etc. This is not hard to understand. It's a demand thing. The area is in high demand for building and living and businesses because tons of people want to go there and work and get this gold so they can make money. Marcus Drake says, don't know good math enough to be a contractor. With sentences like that, let's not throw stones, sir.
Working, and allegedly this massive metropolis was built with the biggest buildings, most beautiful, perfect buildings you've ever seen in your...
Yeah, I'd imagine there was a lot of money in the area considering, you know, the gold rush. Where did they get all this money in this area where one of the most precious resources in human history was found in abundance?
Your life.
Yeah, and tiny populations too.
Tiny populations.
It makes sense for these buildings to be built this magnificent.
You think turn of the century San Francisco had a small population for the time? It was growing. It's grown into one of the biggest cities in the United States for a reason. What?
You know, hugely.
To this day, it makes no sense when you go up north why the cities are so big.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because people live there. What do you mean, why are cities so big? This just sounds like a bumpkin being like, gosh darn it, I don't understand these city folk. Why do they need so many tall buildings? Me and Jethro go down by the creek and we hang out in a shack for 3 days while we go fishing, and that's enough for us. Why all these highfalutin city folk need all these tall, shiny buildings? Because people fucking live there, idiot. What do you mean?
So, you know, you gotta start... Okay, so another thing, so the 1949 gold rush, big deal. That's when
there were 25,000 people in San Francisco around 1849. Yeah, for the time, that's a lot of people.
allegedly San Francisco boomed, and then in 1906 is when the
You said the 1949 gold rush? Let's see. Population of San Francisco 1949. San Francisco census data 1950. Let's go 1950. The total population of San Francisco in the year 1950, which is a year after he is talking about, were 775,000 people living in 698,176 households. Over three quarters of a million people Well, gosh darn it, why don't they all live in big old tents like me and Bobby Lee? They live in fucking buildings. What do you mean? There's 750,000 people there working and trying to mine. What?
Big earthquake and subsequent fire we are all taught about happened.
TubeMan with 100 bits says the funniest thing about this topic is that the best example they could use is Mexico City, which was built in the 13th century by the Aztecs and is still lived in today.
Even though
Yeah, I know. He meant 1849. I was making fun of him.
times before the same thing happened in San Francisco, allegedly in its very short lifespan.
The Civil War was 1965, right?
Which makes you kind of wonder, why would you keep building there? Especially bringing massive populations there when they're...
Because of the resources. Because of the resources. And San Francisco, I'm pretty sure, is also a fucking port city. It's valuable to live there. What?
Is plenty of land everywhere else. Why build on top of each other in San Francisco in this tiny, dangerous place? But anyway, we're not, you know... So, yeah, no, totally different discussion. So then this earthquake and fire happens, which we are taught in school. It was a earthquake, and then a fire happened, and then the whole town was vaporized, basically. And which you buy. You're like, okay, well, there's lots of earthquakes in California. You know, they knew San Francisco had earthquakes. They probably shouldn't have built, you know, like all that stuff comes in where you're just rationalizing it. That makes sense. But then once you dig into the story, and you dig into the mainstream story, and then you dig into like the mainstream accounts, and then you start digging into like the really deep stuff, which is like people's personal accounts and photography and videos of the era. And then just...
Wasn't there also where a bunch of immigrants from Asia came in through? Yes. That's actually the plot of a Marvel comic, or at least the adaptation of Big Hero 6. They live in a city called San Fran Okio or something, and it's like an alternate universe where I believe after the city gets destroyed in the actual historical event he's talking about in this alternate universe, immigrants are given much more, like, you know, decision-making ability and in the city and stuff, so it ends up being rebuilt as sort of a modern San Francisco that we know today, but with a lot of, like, Asian architecture and culture and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. Ice Queen with 50 bits says, because they fucking can, where do you think they should live, idiot?
If you think about, you know, the behavior of everyone during this time, it seems very, very, very unusual.
What's unusual? What? Human beings recovering after a disaster. How unusual. Human beings also rebuilt, oh god, why am I blanking on the name? Oh no! New Orleans. Humans also rebuilt New Orleans. Even though that's not an ideal place to be. It doesn't really matter. People do that. It's their home. They want to live there.
The courses of actions the city and the state and the military and the police took, and the people, and, you know, you start wondering.
Pronounced Nowlands. Yeah, Not for me.
Oh, what's going on here? This San Francisco place seems really strange to me. You know, like, when I grew up there, you know, when I'd visit there, I'd be like, this place is strange. Like, this is a strange place. Because it's just overall one of the strangest places, the most underrated, strangest place on the planet.
San Francisco? Why?
San Francisco, once you start deeply diving into, you know, these photographs and stuff. But anyway, like, there's a count, like, if you type in San Francisco earthquake personal accounts, you know, and you start researching, you'll get these accounts that are like ridiculous. They're written like poetry. Like, they have...
How dare people write poetry or speak eloquently about a disaster they lived through? Everyone needs to talk like me and Bobby Lee down by the creek. Why say many words when few words do trick? Tucker White says, why do buildings from this time period look better than just about anything built today? I mean, that's just a personal architectural preference. H. Baird says, if you think San Francisco is weird, he should try Berkeley.
They're just like, they're written like someone who's a writer at a school was given a task to like, hey, make this really exciting sounding story about how
they didn't have TV. They wrote and read things other people wrote for entertainment. What? AshyBoo74 says, is his whole argument vibes and a person did something I wouldn't personally do? Like, legit? I keep waiting for him to bring up another point, but nope. Seems like it. Christian American says, digging the metal band cover art. Happy New Year. Thanks.
tragedy struck
the cover art look. Thank you.
a large city, and everyone got together and just like killed it and rebuilt the city in an amazing amount of time.
Yeah, human beings are capable of pretty impressive feats when we actually like get together and do something. We just kind of suck at that nowadays.
But she's really looked into the accounts. She's pointed me at some stuff, and I'm like, what is going on here? Because just there's a very obvious difference between the accounts written by the mainstream and the actual personal accounts of people on the street.
Are you saying that are you saying the people on the streets accounts are more eloquent, or the officials, like media people? Because if you're surprised that like newspapers are writing eloquent accounts that are very vivid, that's because that's their job. They don't have TV and video cameras and stuff to show events, so they need to paint a very vivid picture of events for people to read and understand what's happening. What?
You get these very fanciful stories from the mainstream, and then the people on the street were confused as all hell.
Wait, is he surprised that the media is, like, very vivid and sensationalist in their reporting? What?
About what was going on in San Francisco at the time, because it's very, very unusual to learn about what was going on there during the time, and what actually caused all this, the destruction of San Francisco. When I was a kid, they taught us it was all earthquake and fire. Because, you know, everyone built all their houses old-timey and it just couldn't handle the fire. Or they built their houses not knowing they were in an earthquake zone, and, you know, which all ended up being BS. But yeah, like, there was this lady, the first lady you read some stuff to.
Yeah, the eyewitness account. Yeah, so first of all, she talks about being surprised how cheery everyone looked despite their...
Yeah,
I'd be happy I survived. I'd be happy I survived.
Had just been being an earthquake and there being a disaster.
The more of these things you read, you start seeing this people noticing that the general population was acting as if it was no different of a day, or were almost gleeful at the sight of their entire city being blown apart.
Tucker White says, I really want that house on the ledge. Dangerous.
Which is very unusual, to say the least. You would think that, you know, maybe, you know, you'd think like you'd be seeing people in misery everywhere.
People can be in shock. People can be happy they survived a disaster, even if their possessions are gone. What?
But when you look at these photos, not these especially, because I think this is of the World's Fair, but you'll look at photos and just people like it's so unusual, like stuff like this, like
there you go, yeah.
Like what? They're taking a selfie in front of.
That's not what selfie means. It's just a photograph.
The city burning down, you know.
Yeah? And human beings do shit like this. What?
No. And so
yeah, people do that today. People are dumb. People are weird.
You see, and then a lot of the video footage, there's like a lot of documentaries and stuff.
I'm glad 9/11 happened before TikTok. Can you imagine how many videos there would be of dumb New York kids, like, flossing in front of the World Trade Center, or with the World Trade Centers in the background as they're, like, burning? Jesus Christ. Ashy Boo with 50 bits says, people today build homes and buildings in flood, tornado, hurricane, and earthquake zones, while being perfectly knowledgeable about the risk. Humans like building things where they want to build them, consequences be damned. In the case of rebuilding, it makes even more sense. If my house got leveled, I would want to build a new house in the same-ish spot to attempt to return to normalcy. These people have no comprehension of empathy or understanding of others. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I know.
Of the San Francisco earthquake, and you just don't ever see anyone really sad. You just see everyone like
It's 1849. That might even not be the worst thing that happened to them that year. They probably lost 3 different kids in the last 5 years to, like, diphtheria. Like, life was pretty shit back in the day. Don't get me wrong, it's not great now either, but it's relatively better. These people, I don't think, were strangers to tragedy. Sky Comet Fallen says, introduce this guy to tornado chasers.
Knew it was going to happen almost.
At least there's a
or at least a part of the population knew they were kind of in on something.
They were better off for some reason than the rest of the people.
Yeah. Definitely.
Also, I'm gonna be real, if I lived in a town that was run by, like, robber baron pieces of shit who were taking advantage of miners and other laborers, and then all their shit collapsed, I'd find it a little funny. I'm just saying, like, yeah, my house got fucked up, but so did the asshole that I hate. You know? Yeah. Felix Night Owl with 45 bits says, Hannah, did you eat your black-eyed peas for good luck in the new year? My dad always made us eat them on New Year's Eve, and I hated it as a kid, but now I love them. What are you? No. That's not a thing anyone does. What are you talking about? Why are you asking like that's a thing other people do? No one does that like it's a thing. What are you talking about? KR Goss says, my husband had dysentery while they were in Kenya. That shit kills, and it's awful. Yeah, no one wants to shit themselves to death. Blackwing Hecate says, A, sucks to suck, being a robber baron. Also, B, your girl got a date. Fuck yes. I hope you absolutely kill it on that date. Wait, other people did? No. What are you talking about? There are people who eat black-eyed peas on New Year's. Why? What the fuck? What the shit? Probably a Lannister says, I'm Hispanic and my family eats 12 grapes. Don't know if anyone else did that. Bittergrin says, it's actually a thing. Oh, why? What? Okay. I've been proven wrong. I don't know about the black-eyed peas thing. Stromboli says, black-eyed peas are for health and collard greens are for money. Ashy Boo says, for another odd New Year's Eve tradition, a friend of mine made a bread and her family slammed all the doors with the bread to shoo away the old year. I don't get it, but she has a chaos elemental, so I wasn't surprised. What the fuck is... Human beings are so weird.
This one woman who was giving her eyewitness account, I mean, she was talking about how there were rumors of the ferries being burned down and people for days and days and days
stuck on the peninsula. San Francisco is a peninsula. You can't leave without ferries or getting out a certain way, so they didn't know they could leave. But it was like they told everyone the ferries burnt down so they can get their people out first, type of situation.
Yeah, rich people being selfish, and again, I don't even know if what this guy is saying is true, but it's not the most unbelievable thing ever. Rich people are assholes. Did you know that? I know that.
It's like another 9/11. It reeks of false flag.
Oh, we already had false flag on the bingo card, I think.
And even the Earth.
Yeah, peninsula is not an island. I think the implication that he's trying to make is that the one outlet of the peninsula to other, parts of California or whatever, I assume he just thinks it was blocked, which it may or may not have been. I don't know.
Quake part of it reeks of psyop because
it's not a psyop.
We haven't even talked about the dynamite. So the craziest thing for me to find out, I think, for both of us to find out is that most of the... Why is basketball on all of a sudden?
That's not a basketball uniform, is it? That's a baseball uniform. It says MLB on her microphone. What?
Is that most of the... Why is
So we're clear this isn't racist disbelief? No, I don't think so.
basketball on all of a sudden? I don't even watch baseball. That was baseball.
Oh, now he said baseball.
Huh. So the firemen immediately started dynamiting the city, and then the military showed up and took over the dynamiting, and they dynamited the whole town.
Yeah, things are probably structurally unstable, and they wanted to do controlled demolition instead of everything falling down at random times and endangering people. What? Jamie Lynn says that's to make a fire break, you idiot. Oh, nice.
Not only that, let's just not glaze over. They instilled martial law. They put
No, it has to be call saying, it can't be anyone.
Out a notice for everyone other than beer to pour your alcohol down the drain.
So there was like a...
Because they didn't want it to burn. Alcohol burns. Like spirits? Spirits burn. What? They were trying to stop the fire. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, did someone say dynamite?
Did somebody say boom?
Prohibition. Martial law. And that's...
The prohibition is for... Whatever.
I don't remember.
And we're kind of controlling how people could go in on...
Yeah.
We have these personal accounts we've written. We've read that... where they're like, yeah, like I was forced at bayonet point out of my building by...
Yeah, it was probably structurally insecure, or like someone else said, they needed it to try and stop the fire from spreading further. Tucker White with 50 bits says, okay, we've gone long enough without this. It's needed here.
Shut up, shut up, shut up! Jesus Christ, man, what the hell is wrong with you? Please, just shut up!
Cool. It's been long enough where that gets it. I feel that one again.
Military, and they blew up my building, basically. Like...
And this is...
What is going... Like, let's say this happens now. Let's say LA has a big earthquake, right? Los Angeles, the city I live in now. Then the government shows up and starts blowing up buildings. Like...
We have more modern methods of fighting fires nowadays, but if they needed to, yeah, they would absolutely blow up your building in order to try and prevent a fire. Though, a lot of modern buildings aren't just brick. A lot of them are flammable materials, insulation. Although if it's fiberglass insulation, I guess it's not flammable or as flammable. Yeah, if they had to, they would, yes. You think the government wouldn't collapse your house or building if it could be used to, like, help stop a greater disaster? Of course they would.
Wouldn't you kind of question that? Like, is there...
Metal cladding filled with oil products? Yeah.
Some sort of rationale behind blowing up...
There is, yes.
The most beautiful stone buildings in the world. Like, the other thing, I mean, we're not going to get really deep on this, but like when a old stone and wood building burns, usually all the wood burns out of it and the structure stays. And so San Francisco has all these buildings like this, so they go around blowing them up to save the city.
Okay, so you just said you understand then. They were trying to stop the fire from spreading further and stopping these buildings from continuing to be a mode through which the fire can continue to spread.
Really weird. And it wasn't like you had a few groups of people, like government, like the cops were trying to, or the firemen thought they knew what they were doing, and the government had to step in and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? It wasn't like that. You had authorities fighting over being able to dynamite the city.
Yeah, because different groups probably thought they were better equipped to do so in order to stop the spread of the fire. Blackwing Hecate with 45 bits.
Till it showed up.
Still showed up and started blowing up buildings left and right.
Something's protecting it. something unnatural.
Oh, and I forgot about this part. Not only the alcohol thing, so they also, any cars in the city...
Oh, were commandeered.
Were commandeered to
transport
the
dynamite all over the city.
It was
None of that's suspicious. That makes sense considering what is happening.
So anyone who had it, there weren't that many cars back then.
Yeah.
So all the cars were straight common, and you could find video, like film.
You found video from 1849?
And pictures
of this.
Of these guys putting dynamite and just these...
Edison's gonna sue someone.
Idiots. Like these dudes running around with rifles and boxes of dynamite blowing up buildings. Like...
I bet I could Google this and find the answer. Why did they blow up buildings in San Francisco? Let's take a look. The city used explosives in an attempt to clear a path, but untrained crews instead helped spread the fire. By mid-afternoon, April 1906, San Francisco was a ring of fire, a pillar of smoke, and virtually out of water. Authorities were desperate. Out-of-control blazes from an earthquake had turned into a firestorm, moving through the city like a funnel cloud. With no other means to fight back, Army General Frederick Funston and civil authorities decided on a last resort, using dynamite to create fire breaks. The idea was to destroy part of the city to save the rest. It turned out to be one of the biggest mistakes in San Francisco history. So again, they were trying to stop the fire, but they did a bad job. That's the answer.
I didn't hear that. And then there are more accounts of basically...
What's the conspiracy supposed to be? That the government destroyed this city for some reason. For some nefarious purpose. Blackwing Hecate says, a fire tornado. Yeah, a fire tornado.
A lot of the accounts you get is, oh, I was woken up by a huge explosion, you know? And once you start taking into consideration they're dynamiting everything, you know, maybe could there possibly not have even been an earthquake?
It causes a lot of confusion.
No, there was an earthquake. They're in San Francisco. It's on a fault line, like a lot of California.
Regardless of what actually happened, if they start explosions happen.
If you tell everyone to go dynamite every other building on the block, and at 5 a.m. light the fuse, and they all go off, people from the 1800s aren't going to know that it's an earthquake. Or
I'm pretty sure people who live in California know what an earthquake is. Do you think that was the only earthquake they ever experienced in their whole life?
Or their building being blown up or bombed?
Or, yeah, adjacent.
Bombed?
Yeah, who
even?
knows? I mean, at that point. So
very unusual.
It's a deep rabbit hole. There's many eyewitness accounts.
Very unusual.
This is a virtual exhibit of the San Francisco city.
Okay, I gotta comment on this. They were blowing up buildings in a failed attempt to create fire breaks to stop the spread of the fire. It wasn't a conspiracy. It was a failed plan. You could literally look this up in 5 seconds.
Virtual exhibit, you can look it up.
Ms. Bella Kitty says, I used to live in California and there's a mini earthquake at least once a month. That's how common they are. Yeah, that's my understanding, is that they're pretty common. It's just the big ones get really bad.
You could click around to and look back in history at every building that was there, but that's like, it's very, very, very unusual rabbit hole, and
yeah, it goes deep.
And you can go investigate it still, because there's still some buildings left. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think if we hit everything. I think we did. I mean, just about, but you know,
I mean, it's
just
impossible.
But and so the thing is that like while San Francisco is a pretty big reset town, like I said, every major city was possibly built around a star city which
just older stuff.
Yeah,
built
old
upon
stuff.
Older things. A
Star City.
lot of these, there's got to be at least one building in every major city across.
But like,
the
if you
United
listen
States.
to the mainstream, they're like, "Oh no, the United States was just empty, and there was just some random savages."
I've had exactly in my life. I felt exactly one earthquake. It was like between 2012 and 2014. I don't remember exactly when it was in Michigan, but I lived on the top floor of my apartment building, and I'm so unfamiliar because earthquakes just don't ever happen in Michigan that I was confused. I didn't understand what was happening. The whole building started moving, and I was like, oh shit, is this thing like structurally gonna, like, what is happening? Is this structurally unsecure and it's gonna collapse? I literally didn't understand it was an earthquake until I read later in the day, like on Facebook, someone was talking about it, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
And we showed up and just like, made it awesome.
It was a very tiny earthquake. It only lasted like a couple seconds, and it was just very strange. 2014, thank you.
When the more you research, and I know it sounds a little crazy if you haven't done the same research, but the more you research, you're like, there was stuff here long before the timeline that they're saying. And the deeper you look at these things, especially...
Did he say savages? Oh god, I missed it.
But like, if you listen to the mainstream, they're like, "Oh no, the United States was just empty, and there was just some random savages."
Oh, fucking yikes.
And
yeah, let's not dehumanize indigenous peoples, please. That'd be great.
Showed up and just like, made it awesome. When the more you research, and I know it sounds a little crazy if you haven't done the same research, but the more you research, you're like, there was stuff here long before the...
Yeah, lots of indigenous societies that were wiped out due to disease and later colonization as it expanded throughout the Americas.
Timeline that they're saying. And the deeper you look at these things, especially the things they pointed out to us in school, you dive deep on those, and you're like, wait a minute, this is complete BS. And why was it so important that they taught me this stuff in school?
Apes in Shadow, bing. Let me see your bingo card. If you say you got a bingo, and I'll check it.
1906 earthquake. But anyway.
Or Aspen Shadow, sorry.
Yeah, so it's just, and then you, like, this stuff, this gleeful...
You just gotta take, like, the URL of your bingo card and just post it in the chat, and I'll take a look.
Oh, that's...
like, if you loved your city, like New Yorkers, like, oh man, New Yorkers love their city. They would never laugh at it being burnt down, or they would never be happy about that.
We have a bingo winner, everyone. Aspen Shadow. Would you like me to gift you a sub? Or would you like it to be gifted to someone else? I don't want to be presumptuous. Let me know.
We saw what happened on 9/11. And it's like seeing this hearing all these accounts of there being like a very strange population. And then seeing pictures of people and watching videos of people like almost celebrating. And
you're cool with anyone? If you're cool with anyone, I'm going to pick you. Gift sub. Payment processing. Hydrate. Will do. There you go. Enjoy the gift sub. That is our official bingo winner for today. We can still play for fun, but that is the official winner. Fu Manchewy with 9 months says, what do we name the sub baby? We're going to name it Billy Bob Jean, after this fellow's presumed name.
Watching gleefully as the city is dynamited, I could only compare it to one thing, unfortunately, that's happening these days. And it just kind of makes you wonder, like, what are we just... like seeing a cycle of things happening, and are there just
oh no, that's anti-Semitism on the bingo card, I'm guessing.
Resets every once in a while, and there's just like but like, this is the only thing I could compare that to realistically, is watching this happen. So I don't really know, but look into it, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Yikes. Look, I don't like people cheering at the burning of someone's religious buildings either, but I don't feel like that's why you picked that video. I don't think that's why he picked that video. Yikes. Let's move on, shall we? At least he saved the anti-Semitism until the very end, so we didn't have to suffer through it for very long. Thinly veiled or open? I'd say thinly veiled. I'd say thinly veiled. Open would be like if you literally said, I think this specific group is controlling the world. Do we want CC? He doesn't even talk about Flat Earth in this. It's just him saying dumb shit about Trump. Alright, everyone's saying CC. We'll do CC. For anyone who's new here, CC is a regular on our Tinfoil streams. He's a flat earther. He's an anti-vaxxer. His wife hates him, and that's about the gist of it. He's kind of dumb. He thinks he's much smarter than he is. Let's take a listen to his most recent video.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 12/31/21. You know, a lot of people tell me, is this all you talk about is Flat Earth? Yes. That's what I talk about. You know why?
Why, Chris?
Because since we were children, we've been fed that everything's a globe. See that globe that's in front of your child at school?
Chris seems to think that every school teaches that the world is a globe every single day, when I don't remember that coming up even once. Jamie Lynn, enjoy your Minecraft.
That he or she sees every single day. Every day it's sitting there. Every day you are told that you live on a globe. Well, here you live on a flat land covered with a dome, and there is no space. So that's what you're going to hear from me.
Space exists, believe it or not. Most of everything is space. We are in space right now, technically. We're on a planet that's in space. Everything is space.
All the time. To get through the thick-skulled people who just can't comprehend that we live on a flat land. We're motionless. We're not moving. Nothing up there exists.
Nope. It does. Everything exists in space.
It's like going down that...
This would be like a fish saying they don't believe in water. I don't believe in the ocean. You're in it.
A hidden planetarium. You can't land on it. They're just lights in the sky. A wonderful, amazing light show up there.
Terra Firma, my least favorite spaceship.
And that's what I tell people. When I say, hey, Chris, how you doing? Well, everything's still flat. No one's been able to tell me and prove to me that we live on a globe.
Chris, no one has to prove it to you. Everyone else knows that if you want to live in a really weird, ignorant life where you think the Earth is flat, that's your business. I don't care. People have tried to explain it to you. I've tried to explain it to you. You just don't want to live in reality. You want to think you're smarter than everyone else. It's really not good.
Everything's stationary. Another thing I want to get into real quick. When I'm sitting next to somebody or standing there pumping my car up with gas, or sitting on the grocery line and hearing people complain about the prices of everything, the one thing I ask them is, who'd you vote for?
Inflation is up across the globe. Last I checked, Biden is not the president of the globe. There are so many things to legitimately criticize Biden for. This isn't one of them. Biden did not make the inflation happen. The global pandemic and supply chain issues caused this to happen. Andrew Dickinson says, CC, do you know your testicles are round? What are you gonna do about it? Oh, God.
And usually the answer is the current president. So don't give me your bullshit, okay? He's there. He's the reason why everything is out of whack.
Is it?
Well, not really. In a way, he's a puppet. But you remember very quickly when they stopped saying Merry Christmas?
Here comes the war on Christmas stuff. Blackwing Hecate says, he's a flat earther, Hannah. He doesn't care about anything that happens on the globe. True!
It was about 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So somewhere around there. They kind of excluded that. It was just happy holidays. You know, and it was just all the
Biden did literally say Merry Christmas, yes.
big corporations that did it. So this is the reason why people voted Trump in. You know,
we voted for a proto-fascist because we wanted people to say Merry Christmas, even though people do say Merry Christmas, but the people on Fox News said they don't. Nick says, CC, I literally had people say Merry Christmas to me while I was shopping, idiot. Kirthan says, that was the bannable C word all along. It was Christmas.
To get the country back.
Isn't Biden Catholic? He is, yes.
You know, to where it was originally. You know. I mean, they're now trying to... God, the politicians are telling you what you should and should not do. The politicians are telling you should vax your child.
You should. If you have a kid, be a responsible parent and get them vaccinated, please.
You like it or not. They're forcing you to do it here in New York. You can't bring your children down to New York, into a park, or anything like that.
Yeah, get your kid vaccinated. I'd be surprised. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if his kid is vaccinated, because his wife, to my understanding, they do have a young kid. They have a pretty young kid who can't make decisions for themselves in terms of, like, medical stuff. It sounds like CC's wife is vaccinated, so I hope his wife was able to get their kid vaccinated behind his back. Taylor Latte Boy says his kid's IR spouse are sneaking past the hallway, hoping not to get pulled into one of his lectures.
And then people ask why you voted for Trump. I see, I don't vote, so I don't give a shit. But I'm just saying why people voted Trump in is because of you. The people who have voted for all these other idiots that have destroyed this fucking country to a point to no end, where people have lost their jobs, they've lost everything. And that is why people have voted for Trump. I'm sorry.
Chris, you lost your job if you lost your job because you refused to take medicine that's good for you and the public, and you are in a public-facing position. You literally drive around vulnerable people. For those who don't know, Chris, his job is he drives a van for a company that transports people in wheelchairs from place to place. So the elderly or people with other conditions or people who are just, you know, paraplegic or whatever. Yeah, Chris, you need to get vaccinated if that's your job. Tube Man with 100 bits says, you best start believing in the globe, CC. You're on one. Nope, not fucking with Disney on that one.
That's the reason why. Whether you like him or not, who the fuck cares? The reason why he was voted in is because of what this country right now, in the disaster that it's in right now. And I don't care.
It's a disaster.
What state you're in. Okay? You have third world trash in every state.
There's the mask. It fell right off. Okay, let's hear that one again.
Right now, in the disaster that it's in right now, and I don't care what state you're in, okay? You have third world trash in every state.
This is the most mask off I've ever seen CC. He must be losing it, because that is just outright fucking ridiculous xenophobic garbage. Chris, fuck you.
Coming to you. So don't give me this bullshit about numbers and all this garbage.
Don't give me all these statistics and facts. If anyone wants to report it, here's the link. It's up to you. I don't know what you want to report that as.
None of these people have been tested that have been coming up here.
You don't think people who immigrate from other countries get COVID tests? They do. Yeah.
They can do whatever the fuck they want. Oh, god damn. You know, really.
It's funny, too, because, Chris, why do you even care? You don't believe in COVID. You think it's a conspiracy. You're just a racist.
That's the state this country's in. So, Happy New Year. Hopefully it'll be better. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos and let me be a part of your life.
So, Chris is an absolute asshole. I know we're not shocked, but, like, there it is. There it is. This is a newer video. This came out 2 hours ago.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 1/1/22. Welcome to the new year. Hope everybody's good. You know what I just heard on TV? I just happened to glance in on a television because I like to watch the Honeymooners, you know, right now, and they have the Twilight Zone marathon, and they usually do that around New Year's. And they play it for like 12 hours. It's soothing, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of like brings you back to your old times, shall we say? So,
Boomer. Although I not only own the Twilight Zone on Blu-ray, I own the 80s Twilight Zone complete series on DVD, so. Honeymooners, not so much. Ooh, loud.
Shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
So, I just glanced and I saw a commercial. You know, if a company is spending billions and billions of dollars advertising something, doesn't that make you think? Billions of dollars. Remember when Facebook came out? You didn't even know what it was. I don't think they did any advertising. I don't think he did any advertising at all. He just let it run because he didn't know what it was actually going to evolve into. You know, Twitter, same thing. Google, same thing. You never heard any advertisements on that. AOL.
They did definitely have advertisements once they started to take off and they had money. What?
Any advertisements on AOL on TV? But no. No. Now I'm hearing...
AOL sent so many discs to people in the mail during the early 2000s and the late 90s. I think it's like a third of all trash dumps. For those who are young enough to not remember this, AOL used to... You have to, like, buy minutes with it, kind of like some, like, burner cell phones. So you had to, like, pay for the amount of time you were using the internet. But they would give you CDs in the mail that they would just send you as promotional thing that's like, here's 10 free hours of AOL or whatever, so you could try it out. That was their advertising, Chris. Everyone knows about this. H-Baird says, The Honeymooners, a show with a running gag about spousal abuse. Kirthan with 100 bits says, Cece's video with his wife got posted to sad cringe about 2 weeks ago and the comments are hilarious.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Well, same day, same time.
I'm gonna assume the what's AOL is a joke. TubeMan says, I used to get those stupid AOL discs in my cereal box when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember that promotion.
This is not to scale, of course. When I grew up, the solar system was stationary.
No, it wasn't. Just because you didn't pay attention in school doesn't mean you get to say bullshit.
Alright, honey, come on.
The sun was standing.
Why don't you stop this bullshit?
I love it. Can you give me like 5 minutes?
No, you've had it all morning, and I'm just freezing, and I'm hungry, and it's time to start cleaning the house.
What a nice lady. Blackwing Hecate says, oh shit, when did I become the stream boss again? I don't know. Hi, honey. Jesus Christ, not this bullshit again. He's definitely done his best to convince her also. Yeah, the comments are funny.
Advertisements.
This is art. The tension.
I will...
Nick with 45 bits says, I know this gets asked every time, but why does he even post that in the first place? I don't know. I think the title of the video was something along the lines of, this is what it's like to live with a round earther. So I think he was trying to vent frustration to fellow flat earthers, but it just came off as him looking stupid.
Vax my child the minute it's born. Here in New York.
Whatever vaccines you can give to newborns, yes, please protect your children. There's a reason infant mortality rates have plummeted in the last century. Vaccines are a huge part of that.
I don't know if you've gotten that, if you've seen it, but you will. You will. So I see some people have been picking up my channel and editing my videos and doing whatever they must do to make me look like a fool.
I just show your whole videos. That's the easiest way.
That's alright. Because I've already contacted Cydan Man, and those are all the people that have trolled me.
Cyman Dan, another YouTuber who covers other flat earthers and stuff. I actually haven't checked out his channel in a while. I have to go catch up.
That look up to him, who's got all these subscribers. What is he up to now? 500,000? What, 750? Yeah, where is he now? And I've asked him if he wants to do a live fucking show.
Ugh, Cyman Dan, please have CC on. I need to see that so bad.
Live show.
Oh god, I'm gonna invite him right now. I'm gonna invite him right now. Chris, I may be no Cyman Dan, but I cover you often on my channel. If you would like to come on and have a discussion sometime.
Unedited, live, on YouTube. We can do it. We have the technology, obviously. But no. No, he won't do that. So all you followers of him, don't you feel like a fool? Don't you? So, my advice for your New Year's resolution, research Flat Earth. Understand it. Understand all these fucking lies that are going on here. Understand the reason why the trolls are attacking us. And understand that we know the truth. That's it, I'm done. I thank you for subbing, I thank you for viewing my videos, and let me be a part of your life.
Good lord, Chris. Get a grip. I really hope he responds and wants to come on the show. That'd probably be the best discussion since we had Peter on. Carnio1 says, first bits of the year, thanks for 400. I like the cape. It makes you look like a superhero. Thank you. Foil Woman, foiling the plans and beliefs of conspiracy theorists around the globe. Should try to get his wife on, too. Okay, we could probably do one more video or so. Maybe more if they're short. How about this lady? This is a woman who believes in a lot of weird stuff. I don't know how to talk about her, so let's just watch.
Scamming They take a person's YouTube picture, their profile picture, and then they get these spam bots or certain YouTube channels. A lot of channels have literally had to shut their comments off at nighttime. You know, some channels have their live feeds going all night long. You know, you could watch wildlife or something like that. But they've had to shut off the comments because of the spamming bots. Now, technology is wonderful. It really is, and it can be used for good purposes. But these people, they got evil intent. They got evil intent.
Someone's spam botting her channel, which isn't uncommon. I get spam bots on my channel too, but it's usually not evil intent as much as it is people trying to get you to click on their, like, spam links. They're like, look at this hot porn, and then you click on it and it's malware or spyware. Don't do that, but they're not targeting you specifically. They do that to, like, every YouTube channel. Tube Man says, okay, Foil Woman, just try not to end up like Asbestos Lady. I'll do my best.
Take the technology and leave it or use it for very bad purposes, you all. They do. And they've done horrific things to people. They really have. It's just another tool that the evil, the darkness has in their little internet, their little technology tool bag. They're playing for real, okay? Well, it's for real, okay? It really is for real. Good morning, everyone. So look, so I've been coming through here. I always, every week, I'll have to report somebody using my profile picture. I want to tell you, if you ever...
Oh, this is probably people genuinely fucking with her. Maybe people from, like, Kiwi Farms or something awful. Basically the same kind of people that fuck with, like, Christine Weston Chandler. Well, not anymore. She's in jail now, but, you know, back in the day. Blackwing Hecate says, what if the true evil intent was the friends we made along the way?
See things like this and saying, please contact numbers. I don't get on here, and that's not me. But what they do, they're really sneaky. They do their little bots things. If you're watching, I'm going to show you what they do. They use my name. They'll sometimes put an asterisk in front of my name and my profile picture. In this case, they got lower caps of my name. Lower caps right here. They'll do lower caps, they'll do larger caps, they'll say admin, and they'll ask you to give money or call a certain number and stuff. See?
Jesus Christ. Unless that's just a new YouTube scam where spam bots are, like, grabbing people's names and pictures and doing stuff. I don't know, though.
To, the beautiful sound of nature in Africa. I've been sitting here in front of my fire and just thinking it's so beautiful and it's so healing if you're just tuning in.
Nick says they're using lowercase, not the straw man capital letters.
Yeah, so this literally is the most beautiful webcam I went through overall with frequency and everything in Africa. It really is. You've got the animals grazing, you got the birds singing, and...
This is just her talking about something she likes. I'm not going to make fun of that.
Hello, everyone. If you're just tuning in, I feel led within my spirit, which is in this human body, I feel led within my spirit to speak about December the 21st of 2021. That's what I feel led to speak about. I want to pull...
Which was, you know, a little bit ago.
This thing up behind me right here. You all just bear with me.
This was posted a month ago.
Little green screen. I like to pull it up.
What's her YouTube channel? Gina Maria Colvin Hill.
Behind me. I'm going to have some green behind me while I'm doing this. is what I want to have. So I read something this morning. I shouldn't have read it, but I read it. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about, you know, December 21st. They even have these little memes going around, December something, the end of the internet or something like that. I don't know what they were talking about.
Hold, I'll give you a link.
But December 21st, 2021, I'm sure there's a lot more things being said that something's going to happen on that date than what meets the eye. Of course, I don't read everything, and you all may have been hearing things. And please, let me tell you something. Let me ask you something, please. Hello, everyone. If you have heard certain things happening on that date, could you please put it in the comment section, because we need to document what's being said. I don't know everything that's being said, but I read something this morning, and it did not settle right in my spirit. In fact, my spirit was rather disconnected with what was being said on the December the 21st.
Okay. I'm over her. Oh shit, this one's good. Okay, let's watch this one. This will be our last video, probably. So, I mentioned before that Trump, of course, recently came out in support of booster shots with the vaccines, which is good. I hate Donald Trump. I think he's a big piece of shit, but I don't disagree with him there. You should absolutely get your booster shot. This, of course, pissed off tons of conspiracy theorists who are fans of Trump because they love him and think he is anti-vax for some reason. So let's see this guy try and jump through hoops in order to justify why Trump said what he said, shall we?
Again, is why you cannot take what Trump says at face value.
He's said it multiple times.
Okay, so he's seen in this video with Bill O'Reilly, and they're sitting there.
Yeah, they're doing a speaking tour of some sort, probably gearing up for a 2024 run.
And he's saying, you know, you guys did it. You saved hundreds of millions. Yeah, I think he said tens of millions of lives. He's not anybody that exaggerates, okay? I think it's closer to hundreds of millions. But anyway, so we'll just say that we'll take his more conservative figure of tens of millions. And he's saying, okay, you guys did it. You saved tens of millions of
Nick says the sexual predator speaking tour. Yeah.
people with this thing about the vaccine.
Remember when Bill O'Reilly wanted to rub wait, no, was that Rush Limbaugh? Which one wanted to rub someone with a falafel because they mistook the word falafel for a loofah? I forget which one that was. It was one of those right-wing radio, television personality. Was it Bill? Bill wanted to rub a lady down with a falafel. Oh, what a piece of shit.
And everybody in the audience is going, well, you nut job, none of us fuckers are taking that vaccine. You know, what's up with you? Why are you touting on this? And
yes, Trump had said anti-vax things in the past, so it's understandable why they would think that. Like, I know during the debates in 2016, he was talking about, like, I'm concerned about how close together these shots are being taken by children. Bunch of anti-vax bullshit, basically. Nernindia Owl says, remember how Trump was trying to take credit for the vaccine? I know, that's what's pissing him off.
that sort of thing, right? And then O'Reilly says, have you taken the booster? And he said he had, and so on. Now, there's a couple of things there. He is correct. Because we did not have this extended 10-year lockdown from 2020 to 2030, we didn't have that lockdown, so we did not lose the 468 million people globally that they thought would die.
What? What?
In that period of time.
How many people have died globally so far? COVID deaths. Worldwide. Oh, we're at 5 million. Yikes. And we're only at 288 million confirmed cases, according to this at least. So yikes, especially as this continues because people are not getting the vax because they're idiots and being misled by grifters. How's the US doing? Let's see. It didn't switch this, though. Oh, the United States is at 800,000 deaths, 54 million cases. And Omicron is absolutely fucking spreading like wildfire, and the hospitals are getting overwhelmed. So, yikes.
That was part of their... It's hard work to kill 13 out of 14 people on this planet, and that's their goal.
Is 10-year lockdown a thing? Where did he get this from? Oh, I guess I should explain. The QAnon forums, in trying to justify why Trump has said positive things about the vaccinations and taken credit for them, is because they believe that this is all, that everything that has happened in the last, since 2020, since March of 2020, basically, is a cabal, one world government, new world order bullshit plan that they believe in. And they were like, yes, they're going to plan on locking us down for 10 years in which they will enact their plan or whatever. And they simultaneously will claim, I don't want to get vaccinated because it was rushed, but also say it's a good thing Trump did Operation Warp Speed because it got the vaccines out so quickly that it foiled the cabal's plan. Yeah, it's contradictory. Conspiracy theorists are not consistent.
The globalists, I mean. Okay, so it's...
Consistency is only important for those who value reality.
It's really fucking hard work. You gotta have a good plan. Their plans fall into shit because it was a shit plan. And because people got wind of it, they know how it works, and they're doing things to... And these people, the globalists, are really very stupid. They don't have much in the way of... They're clever. They're not intelligent or smart. Anyway, so Trump saved 468 million people by cutting off this 10-year lockdown, all right? And so...
One sec. Sorry, replying to that idiot that we watched a little bit ago on Twitter. Or on YouTube. Ice Queen says, remind me, why is globalism bad again? I don't know.
We only lost what we lost. And then there are people that are taking the vaccines and they're saying, other people that know what's in them and this kind of thing and suspect that it's all a plot on the part of the globalists are saying, Trump, how can you do this? And so on. And you have to understand the position he's in. Because he's got to maneuver two different groups to a convergence, okay? And you know that we're all very different from the progressives. We're all very different from the all the woo people, right? And we're all very different, and even the conservatives. We're very different from all of those. We're a small subset of what he's got to do. And so here we have Trump. And here is the normies. And
I gotta put normies on the bingo card at some point.
Over here is the woo people. And then we're just a small subset in the larger mass, developing mass, of, let's just call them conservatives.
Are you saying you're the woo people? I'd agree.
Right? And so we had a social order that was maneuvered into thinking of itself this way, where everybody is leftist.
Most people are not leftist. I am. Most people are not. Liberalism is not leftism. Nick with 45-bit says the conservatives love looking kinda sus.
By default, because of the media. Just because you get so much of that shit through their
famous leftist media, CNN.
Schools and everything all your life, you just end up with this generalized, what we would think of as, the liberal democracy leftist bent, right?
Oh no! Democracy! That's a scary concept. Oh, Lord.
And that's just the description that the media would provide to the social order, so that we all felt that that was the nature of the social order. So if you were a conservative, you felt you were living in a leftist environment. And
I mean, there are more liberals than there are conservatives in the country, just statistically looking at voting registrations, and honestly, the popular vote of every election in the past, like, 2 decades. Except for George W. George W.'s second one was propelled by 9/11. Renania Owl says, this guy must be a Glenn Beck fan, but at least he managed to upgrade to a whiteboard.
However much conservative you were, reflected how you saw the movements here. But now we see that the leftists have moved to the extreme left, and they're keeping going, and they're ending up with communism, and that's shocking.
No, they're not. Zero mainstream, like, politicians are advocating for communism in any way, shape, or form. Are you stupid? Biden won't even forgive student loan debt, and you think he's going to consolidate all businesses into a state-owned function to be controlled by workers? Or create a stateless, classless society, depending on, you know, how you're going to define communism?
A lot of the normies, and Trump has been part of engineering this such that the normies bleed over into the conservatives, right? Here. So that we end up with this merging of the two spheres or two types of thinking. As we go forward, he's trying to engineer all of this around or into the what the data used to call the Americana revival. Now, as Trump engineers this, he's got to also deal with all this COVID shit.
This guy must be a Glenn Beck fan, but at least he managed to upgrade to a whiteboard. Nick says, I suppose when you move so far right that overthrowing a fair election sounds like a good idea, everyone else must look like they're moving further and further left from you. You know, relative position's a bitch, isn't it?
And so the normies have been inculcated to the point where they are so pro-fucking-vax that they know that this is the vaccines are the greatest thing ever, blah, blah, blah. They're given 70...
Vaccines are one of the greatest human inventions. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, yes. Vaccination is one of the best inventions humans have ever created in the history of the world. I'm not kidding. It's up there with fucking agriculture, the steam engine, cheese. Like, holy shit, guys. Yes, vaccinations are amazing.
Two of the fuckers.
Listen to anyone who's ever had polio and tell me vaccinations aren't the fucking tits, okay?
To their children, so you see how brainwashed they are, right? So Trump has to balance a certain thing. He cannot do what happened with HCQ. He came out, got...
Sewers are good.
COVID, and he said he...
But what have the Romans ever done for us?
He took HCQ. He has referred to HCQ as a vaccine, which it is...
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Hydroxychloroquine is not medicine that you should take for COVID. There are no studies that show people who are alive with COVID taking that do anything but damage. Do not do that. Do not take that medicine, please. Don't do it. And it's not a vaccine. That's not what a vaccine is. You can't just call things vaccines that aren't vaccines.
Especially now.
Logard says, these bits are for a Life of Brian reference in 2021. Thank you.
Oh, that they've changed.
Is this Tim Pool's dad? No, this is a video from the future. This is Tim Pool in 50 years.
Changed the definition for a vaccine. So when he says...
Oh yeah, 2022. I forgot.
He's taking the vaccine and the booster shot. He may not be taking anything that requires, an injection that way, right? Or he may be taking monoclonal antibodies, which are also a vaccine.
No! Monoclonal antibodies are taking antibodies from someone who has already dealt with it and putting them in your body to help fight the disease. That's not what a vaccine is, though. What?
But he was telling all these people...
Vaccines are generally preventative. Monoclonal antibodies are a treatment.
Don't...
An expensive treatment at that.
In the audience, don't let them take that away.
Does he not know the difference between a vaccine and medicine? I guess not.
From you. Understand what you did. You did a great thing. And he's correct. We've saved hundreds of millions of people, in my estimation.
No, you haven't. People like you have killed a lot of people with this bullshit, and Again, I'm not religious, but if there was a hell... Narnania Owl says, vaccines are bad, but this snake oil is a great vaccine.
Says tens of millions of people by short-circuiting this lockdown, and now we're into the open warfare part of it, and the globalists were not prepared for that. And this is why they're fucking freaking. And this is why they're so demanding and all their mandates and all of that, right? It's a sign of their weakness.
Or it's because new cases are at the highest they've ever been since 2020. Like, things are bad.
Because Trump is...
Are these... For legal reasons, are you a doctor and do you have medical training? Don't want you to get sued by one of these manufacturers. I am not a doctor, I do not have medical training, and none of this is medical advice. This is all my personal opinion. It is also my personal opinion that this man is full of absolute shit and has no idea what he's talking about. Thank you.
Short-circuiting their moral claim to authority by showing how batshit crazy all the vaccine shit is. And this is what he is looking for in response from his audience. Okay, so the first few times that he did the mentions the vaccine to various audience, let's just use three. Here he gets shock and scattered boos, okay? This was back, let's just say the beginning of 2021. I don't remember the time. Then like maybe in April or so, he mentions him again. It's not shock, he gets a lot of boos, right? And then some hesitation. So there's some part of the audience that is reluctant to consider, that still is curious, let's just put it that way, curious as to why he's saying these things, right? Why is Trump supporting the vaccines when everybody else or the consensus appears within the truth movement that the vaccines are bad and killing people and so on and so on, and we have evidence of that? Why is Trump supporting them? Bear in mind, he's treading this line here where he does not want to create a HCQ issue. He says he used HCQ in the beginning when he got his COVID, and the media stomps on him, and it eliminates the...
Yeah, because that was really stupid. That was like really, really stupid.
HCQ. It so polluted the minds of everybody that they couldn't take it. They were saying, oh my God, HCQ will, erode your liver and eat your dick away, right?
I don't think they said it'll eat your dick away, but it can cause fertility issues, or was it erectile issues? I don't remember the exact thing.
Oh my God, don't take this stuff. And
in high doses, that can be an issue.
And people are eating, aquarium stuff or whatever it was, right? So anyway, he got a lot of booze in the middle of it. So there was a change between these two occurrences to the point where the booze, the very large majority of people here now started to recognize vaccine is bad. Now, they don't translate that to Trump is bad. They just say, Trump, huh? What's going on, dude? Aren't you with the people? And he keeps maintaining his position. And so he's come out recently and said, look, you guys did great, and so on. There's been a couple of other episodes of vaccine-related stuff that he's made mention of, and the amount of booze just keeps rising. But
guys, he's in favor of the vaccine. He's a narcissist. He wants to take credit for it. This is not a code. He just wants to take credit for it. And honestly, if taking credit for it and being a narcissist is what it takes for him to be pro-vaccine, that's fine. I just want him to be pro-vaccine and promote it to people because more people need to get it. Renandy Owl says, yes, the truth movement, or as I like to call it, the citation needed movement.
Drops quick. They don't, the audience is more questioning. They're not tainting him with the statements about the vaccine. So now, when he's coming on out, he's changed what he's saying. So he's saying, you people need to understand. Don't let them take this away from you. Now, he's looking for a particular response.
Nothing in his message has actually changed. He's still saying the same thing. And in fact, his stance got even harsher, I would argue, in that he said, don't let them take this away from you. He's, I think, getting frustrated with his followers that don't give him credit for the vaccine.
Again, so he's changed the message, but he's still getting the boos about the vaccine. But now there's even more curiosity. It's like, what the fuck is he talking about? And so a lot of people are not, they take him at face value, and they're not understanding what he's saying, because the left takes him at face value. They think he's serious in a particular context and interpretation on what he's saying, and so they're not reading him correctly. But if you understand Trump, you know exactly what he's saying. So he is saying, in spite of all the boos here, now I'm keep pointing this out in a second, I'll tell you why. He's saying in the most recent statements, you saved, you changed, you were part of this war. You guys altered the course of this war by your reactions and what.
Nick with 45-bit says he looks and speaks like Mike from Breaking Bad after trying the blue meth. Wait, did Mike ever try the blue meth in Breaking Bad? Oh, you're just saying a hypothetical, probably. Oh, I gotta rewatch Breaking Bad. What a good show.
You've done. And this is a good thing. Accept it, own it, and take pride in it. Don't let them take it away from you. Because that's what they're going to try and do in this next thing. So he's giving you a warning.
Trump is literally yelling at people like you for telling his followers to not praise him for the vaccine.
He's telling you to you've had a great victory.
Non-binary Superpowers says, I'd like to point out that not everyone who has not had the vaccine is simply an anti-vaxxer. There are people who have not been able to access the vaccine. Perhaps they live in a state where vaccines have not been voting in the correct numbers. Perhaps their children's vaccine is not approved for children. The herbs, they have genuine questions about the vaccine. They deserve to have those answered. It's helpful. It is helpful, indeed damaging to dismiss everyone as anti-vaxxer. People who can't get it aren't anti-vaxxers. If you can't get it or your kid can't get it, you're not an anti-vaxxer. You just don't have the availability. I am talking about people who are willfully anti-vaccination. That's why they're called anti-vaxxers. Everyone who isn't vaccinated isn't an anti-vaxxer. I recognize that. H. Baird says, they're not saying boo, they're saying boosters. Boosters.
You know.
And frankly, at this point, all the questions have been answered and are available for everyone freely. So if someone still has questions, then they're probably not being honest about that. Their questions could be answered easily.
Understand your great victory. You just don't know it yet, right? A lot of these people don't know it yet. So that's what he's looking for here. He expects this part of it, the curiosity. What? But he's looking for this to overwhelm that, and then to have a point where I'm suspecting. Okay, so I'll do some guessing here. This is not a forecast because I don't have any data or anything for it. I'm suspecting that the evolution of where he's headed is part of his own calculations on sampling where his base is and populace is in their level of awareness. Okay, how awake are these people? So I'm thinking that the next time he talks about the vax, he will reference the mortality rate, just as he did here, if we had not had the vax.
Probably because the vaccine is effective and lowers your mortality rate.
And he's looking for a situation where there will be very, very, very few boos, mass amount of curiosity, and some acknowledgement, some hurrahs, right? That kind of thing. Because his audience will have grasped, a bunch of them will have grasped what has been going on and what has actually happened and where.
If it makes people stop being anti-vax, I don't give a shit.
We are at. And so this is going to shock the left. This is going to freak them fucking out.
That would not freak me out. If Trump mentioned the vaccines and his entire audience clapped, it'd be like, oh fuck, finally, please get vaccinated. I wouldn't be upset. I'd be a little surprised because you're all, so many of you are vehemently anti-vax at this point, but I'd be thrilled. I'd be so happy. I know that's not what he's saying, though. He's saying he wants them to misinterpret Trump's meaning, but still cheer, so as to give the optical appearance of supporting vaccinations while still not getting them.
Because they don't grasp what he's trying to communicate. And it'll shock a lot of the conservatives, too, who are lagging behind, who are slow adopters. who really don't get what's going on, and that we're at this point in the war. I suspect that when this episode happens, we will be very, 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 very close to the war coming out totally in the open. So that we'll be discussing things radically different from that point forward, just on the other side of this. And I think he's using the response he gets from the crowds here to gauge how much of his base is aware. And at some point, when he starts using a feedback loop in his language with this part of the crowd right here.
This is more thought than Trump has ever put into anything in his entire life.
That part of the crowd, or excuse me, this part of the crowd right here, this part of the crowd here, even those few people that are saying, yay, yay, we did it, hooray, hooray, clap, 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 because they grasp it. Maybe it'll take 10 of them. It won't take very many. And people will just say, what the fuck? And then, from that point on, from that next point on, this crowd here will grow gigantically, because they'll clue in all those people that are saying, what the fuck is going on? And they'll be looking for that answer. And these people will have it. All right? They'll understand that the social engineering, that Trump's using this as a feedback loop in his own progress, in the progress of the SOC in terms of educating people, and this kind of thing, right? And so this will be my temporal marker for when the next set of events is going to occur relative to the outbreak, so to speak, of the knowledge of the war within the normies, which is going to be, as I say, coincident with the going through the Kondrativ wave into the crack-up boom. So all that shit will be happening at the same time. Maybe it'll happen before spring. So maybe it'll happen over the next 3 months. That would be a decent guess on the timing. We have had some data sets saying that we're coming into some really emotional period of time, right? We've got a lot of shit about to pop, okay? So understand from this point forward, don't accept anything Trump says without thinking about it.
That would have been really good advice in like 2015 for you people, if I'm being honest.
Without thinking about the individual words and seeing it from his viewpoint as a member of the SOC and what he's trying to communicate. These are like encoded messages, right? These are like get your little decoder ring activated and get your Ovaltine and sit down there and write it out and think about what the fuck he's saying, because it is non-obvious and very important. So anyway, sorry guys. I just get pissed about people for not cluing in to the fact that language is very important to Trump. I mean, like...
as you can tell, he's such a good orator. Trump has a kid's book. Which one is it? A Ladybird book about Donald Trump. What? I'm so confused. I don't understand what this means. Ladybirds for grown-ups. Trump. What? Anyway. Where did that go?
Maybe even the supreme element of his aspect, of his presentation, is precise control at a level that I find just staggering, right? Difficult. You know me, I go wandering off and that kind of shit. Imagine if Trump did that kind of shit. So he's obviously not a woo guy, but he's speaking to us. He knows we're out there. I kid you not. Even the military does. Then we're going to have to get into that later. I got to go and get my bread in the oven. Okay, stay woo.
What the fuck? What the absolute fuck? I'm so over these people. Get vaccinated, losers. Oh, nope. Glad there wasn't anything lewd on my Twitter feed. Twitch. Carney says, do you think reverse psychology will work on people like this? No. I don't think so. Who we raiding? Let's do another channel that does tinfoil. Time for tinfoil.
Boy! I am benibble. I am benibble. I am benibble in the bush. Boy! You're a low pussy. You're a low pussy. You're a low pussy. Fuck.
Alright, have a good night, everyone. I'll see you guys at the next stream. I want to do a Chud Watch soon, but there just isn't good material. So hopefully they'll come up with some crazy stuff soon to watch. Have a good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for coming to the stream. And I'll see you soon, okay? Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good night.